Crab.
We follow orders or people die. Are we clear?
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
It is a Tuesday edition of the Morning Rush, and for the first time all season, the college football playoff rankings come out tonight. 6 o'clock. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. So we're going to ask the question later on in the program. Your best 4 teams in college football, in your opinion. You don't have to go by any rankings. These can just be from your word of mouth. You're welcome to tell us at any point this morning, 877-377-6963. LSU game time next weekend. Arkansas is going to play them 6:30 on the SEC Network. So you get a 3 o'clock game against Mississippi State this weekend at home, and then you get on the SEC Network next weekend at 6:30. It's also No Shave November. That started yesterday. Your favorite hairstyles on the face, your facial hair, these crazy over-the-top things that some people can grow, some people can't. Fortunately, I wish I could grow handlebars, can't do it, but I have some friends that can do it. So we'll get into all that at some point this morning. It's also National Deviled Egg Day. Do you like deviled eggs?
Yes, if they're done right, yeah. I mean, if you rake out all the yolk and then you blend it up with some mustard and mayonnaise and whatever and put them back in, yeah. But they got to be done right. So it's been a while. It seems like that's a holiday deal now, and with Thanksgiving just around the corner, probably a little more deviled eggs coming up. You ever see deviled eggs other than a holiday?
Man, I don't. Really. It's not really a game day food.
No.
It's like you mentioned, a holiday. I will say, speaking of Thanksgiving, I got on the scale yesterday and did not like what I saw. Did not like what I saw after this weekend.
Need to gain some weight?
Need to lose some
get back
weight.
in the gym and put on some muscle?
I need to lose some weight
okay.
after seeing what I saw on the scale yesterday. So I was happy where I was at this point last year. Not at all this year. So I got to get back on the wagon at some point. But got basketball I'm playing later today. Hopefully that'll get back on track.
The best food holiday is this month, and it's not even close. So what is it, the 25th, I think? So we're 23 days, 3 weeks from Thursday till we get to chow down on the best food eating of the year.
I had dinner with my dad last night and said, Dad, the only thing I'm requesting, and because they always have good food and they always do a great job and I'll help out or whatever, I just want a bunch of Sister Schubert rolls. That's my thing. It's just a bunch of Sister Schubert rolls.
Now, what would you help out with? What would you cook and bring?
I mean, last year I brought the Arts barbecue or the Arts
now, what would you
turkey.
cook and bring?
I can.
What can you cook?
Really, anything I set my mind to.
Well, give me an example.
Mashed potatoes, sweet potato casserole, green bean casserole.
Those are all good staples, yeah.
And it probably don't want to be. I let my stepmom handle the turkey because I don't want to be the one that burns.
That's
it.
a lot of pressure to be in charge of the turkey.
Yeah,
That's my job now, and you're right. You gotta have two. That's the key. I always have two.
Backup.
Always have a backup. I always have a backup protein of some type. I've got something going. So
it's the sides that aren't as difficult. It's more the turkey and the main thing that you don't want to screw up. Stuffing.
I didn't think you could cook from scratch. I'm glad to know you could do something that would be beneficial to. Well, it's just following instructions. Yeah. It isn't always that easy. And make it taste good. My wife makes a really good crock pot stuffing. I can't wait for it.
Really? I just look if we have a recipe book or I just help out. Whatever they need.
You don't cheat on the mashed potatoes and take them out of like the Bob Evans and just put them in a deal and claim you made.
We usually make those. We boil them and make them homemade.
Skins on? Or skins off?
We skin them.
Yeah. I can go either way on that. So.
The healthy. I was always told that was the healthy part growing up.
There's nothing healthy about mashed potatoes.
It's what my dad used to say when we were the baked potato. The skin was the healthy part.
That's right. So you peel that off. All right. I'm looking forward. Thanksgiving's this month, and we got basketball coming up a week from today. You mentioned the World Series resumes tonight. I guess if you look at the final score, and I didn't get to watch this game, but as reading and looking at the highlights this morning, I guess a decent Monday Night Football game last night, 20-17. But boy, I don't know how the Chiefs. If you're a Chiefs fan, I don't know how you come out of that feeling like, man, we're back on track. We got this thing figured out. At 4-4. After 8 games last night.
Yeah.
So.
I know Andy Reid, and we'll get into some audio from Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and then also We have some audio from last night's game, including Harrison Butker's go-ahead field goal that made it 17-20 at that point. But, yeah, if you're a Chiefs fan, you have to be a little frustrated and irritated based on how this season has gone thus far. And I think it's warranted because there was a lot of expectations basically coming off last season. You draft, I think it was 3 offensive linemen, or you picked up 3 youngins, if I remember that right, and the offensive line hasn't done a great job of drafting and protecting Patrick Mahomes, and other guys outside of Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce hasn't really initially stepped up as pass catchers. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been a bust to this point of his career. I know you had I can't think of the Gore's first name, not Frank Gore, the long time. He was just in the league forever, but
not Al Gore either.
Yeah,
he was a politician.
I can't think of Gore's first name last night, but he had a pretty good game. You want the team to be better than they are, and as of this point, they are a 4-4 football team. They're perfectly what their record indicates.
And guess what? It's turnovers and penalties is a big part of their Achilles heel. They had their 4th straight game with a turnover last night, kind of a fluky deal that hit off the face mask on the pass to the running back and goes up in the air, and Mahomes is intercepted fairly early in the ballgame, and 12 penalties for over 103 yards. Those are the kind of things that keep you from winning football games. And last night, fortunately, the Giants are just not in a position to take down the Chiefs, even with all those mistakes. But they get away with it because they were playing the Giants, essentially is what happened last night.
I had several people that texted me that they're at the game last night, and they were bundled up. I can't imagine. It was cold here this morning in Arkansas, and I can't imagine how frigid it was in Kansas City and Arrowhead last night. And they were treated, like you said, it wasn't – I mean – you were expecting, or maybe not expecting, you were hoping for a Chiefs blowout, but it ended up being a 3-point ball game, so it ended up being a close one. I just don't know what Kansas City needs to do moving forward outside of not turning the ball over, not committing mistakes and penalties like you're discussing. There's areas that someone with better football mind can tell me, hey, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. Patrick's just not taking the easy throws, too. It comes down to that as well. There's times that he has a guy 6 yards, 7 yards down the flat. He's wide open. He just doesn't throw it to him. You gotta take advantage. It's the NFL, man, and I know he loves to chuck it downfield, and he's got the best arm in the NFL. But you got to take what the defense gives you, and they haven't been doing that to this point this season. So,
all right, Clay's going to be back in with us, so we'll get into this Mississippi State game, and that coming up. As we also have game times for the LSU game that, if you haven't heard, we'll share all of that with you, but no 11 o'clock games, so we'll be talking about that, and the Hogs playing at 3, and Clay will be here in about an hour.
And we are brought to you this morning by Razorback Camper Sales. Fall camping season is ready for you, and not only do they have a huge selection of travel trailers, fifth wheels, and pop-ups, they also offer full prep and setup at no extra cost, so you can leave the lot and start camping immediately. You'll have access to the best parts and service department in the state, and it's the oldest family-owned RV dealer in Arkansas. They've been in business for over 50 years. Come see why our customers are happy in Hot Springs or online at RazorbackCamperSales.com. You also had some big signings and big trades in the National Football League. Von Miller gets traded to the Los Angeles Rams. They're really kind of giving up their future at the moment and going all in. Adrian Peterson, after Derrick Henry is out for the season, has been picked up by the Tennessee Titans. That was a big move yesterday, and just a bunch of crazy things that happened in the NFL over the weekend. We'll get into all those coming up. And then also, like Tommy said, Clay's going to be joining us later on. Bruce Stanton is going to be joining us. We'll talk some college football playoff rankings as those things come out tonight for the first time, and who you think the best 4 teams in college football are. That's coming up on a Tuesday edition of the Morning Rush right here, ESPN Arkansas. HitThatLine.com.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
This is former Razorback and Super Bowl champion Brett Good, and you're listening to the Morning Rush.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you're a fence builder or have building experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay.
Back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With the new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues to be the #1 source for everything football. Head to your website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of these amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Do you know the difference between admission and confession? Admission is acknowledging the truth of something. Confession is a formal statement agreeing that you're guilty. Greg Allman admitted he's no angel, but that doesn't mean he confessed his guilt before God. Romans 10:10 says, one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. Confess to God that Jesus died in your guilty place, and then you'll receive His amazing grace. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Pray about it.
The Game Day Lodge in Branson is the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team building activities. You'll find 10 bedrooms with 19 beds for up to 28 guests, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, poker table, 2 kitchens, 2 laundry rooms, a fire pit, 2 gas grills, outdoor basketball court, a heated indoor swimming pool nearby, and a 10-minute drive to Silver Dollar City. Not to mention near some of the best golf courses. Just search Game Day Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Airbnb, and VRBO.
To any of the combo platters. Make your combo plate any way you want it to be. And don't forget, every Friday night is all-you-can-eat catfish at Art's Barbecue and Burgers, Rogers Avenue next to Buddy's in Fort Smith. Real smoked barbecue.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new 2021 trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore, Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
KJ's going to throw back in the end zone, complete, touchdown Arkansas. Tyson Morris for 9 yards, and the Hogs are up by 2 scores.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here and hitthatline.com.
Sam Pittman was also back with the Arkansas media this week, shared some thoughts on this Mississippi State game. If you've got to go back and remember, this was his first, not just win, but SEC win that this team had had in quite some time, and it was an emotional one, and we'll hear what he had to say about that coming up.
Hey, we're brought to you by Dobson Fiber. You can call them at 479-242-0000 with business telephone and business internet solutions. Fiber to the door for your business with a guaranteed upload and download speed to make your business run more efficiently, to make sure that internet problems are no longer a problem for your business, and again, fast, reliable service from a local company like Dobson Fiber. So if you're looking for a new solution for your business internet and business telephone needs, call Dobson Fiber today, 479-242-0000.
My memory was seeing the kids' faces and kind of the relief in the locker room for them. Honestly, I didn't know how long the streak was of how many, we had lost or anything. I knew it was a couple of years, but I didn't know how far it went back after that. And I think it was just seeing the kids, how excited they were about winning. And then I remember that we left a few kids back here instead of taking them to the game, and our kids rose up to the occasion and won the game. I remember the movie the night before was really a good movie, and I quit honking at people when I was behind them. I know that.
It's good. Good stuff from Coach talking about the Mississippi State win this past year, because you got to remember that was so emotional. It was on the road. You had held Georgia at bay for 36 minutes the week before, and then they kind of took over in the second half. And then you traveled to Starkville. There were the people actually picked you to win, and you go in there. KJ Costello throws 3 interceptions, including a pick 6 to Greg Brooks from the opening jump, and you end up getting a victory. Hudson Henry had a touchdown, and It was a beautiful win, and you did it in front of the Cowbells this past year. Not
many people thought you would win going into that game because of the way Costello had played the week before in the opener against LSU, because everyone thought LSU was a playoff type team, a team that could contend after what they had done, and then Costello lit them up. I mean, like, oh boy, here we go, and then found out Costello wasn't for real. Neither was LSU, as Arkansas exposed them, because it was kind of a surprise the way Arkansas was able to handle that a year ago. I think Mississippi State's much, much better with Will Rogers this year, and I think it's going to be I feel less confident this week than I did last week before they played Kentucky.
And I texted one of my Mississippi State friends, and I told him the exact same thing you just said. I don't feel as confident about it. Now, that doesn't mean they can't win. You got to remember, Arkansas's coming off a UAPB victory and a bye this past week, so they're healthy and refreshed. But that can also, the inverse of that can come. You might not be game ready because you've essentially had 2 bye weeks these last 2 weeks, and now you're playing an SEC football team that's won 2 straight, that has a big-time win against Mississippi State, a big-time win against Kentucky, and they're the only team in college football right now, to my knowledge, let me double-check on this, that has 3 AP top 25 wins, if I remember that right. So that's a pretty good statistic, that are currently ranked. 3 wins over teams that are currently ranked in the top 25. Mississippi State has that with Kentucky, North Carolina State, and Texas A&M. So that's something they can kind of brag and put on the mantle for this year at Point. And you're both 5-3, and you want to get back into just winning conference games, as Coach said at the top of our open.
Yeah, and the Texas A&M win looks really good now. The Texas win, not as much, but A&M has really improved a lot since Arkansas played them. So, that is something that when you look at we were talking yesterday about the SEC Western Division, and Arkansas at the bottom of those 3 losses, 1-3 in league play. A lot of people still consider Arkansas a good football team. Maybe not a great football team, but a good football team. And that's how difficult this Western Division is this year with all those teams. And then, like you said, Mississippi State beats A&M. A&M beats Alabama. You can kind of go through the A plus B equals C. And in this league, there has been a ton of parity.
Arkansas didn't drop much in the polls after losing to Georgia, even after losing to Ole Miss. And you want to give people reason to believe that there's a reason you didn't lose that much, because you lost to the best football team in the country. You lost to what could be the Heisman Trophy winner. We'll see what happens with Matt Corral's health moving forward. And then Auburn, who's looked really good as of late. They've got a big-time game in College Station this weekend. That's where game day should be. Instead, they're going to Cincinnati and Tulsa. Tulsa's like 3-5, Tommy, I think. They're 3-4 in the season, and it's just I guess because the game's on CBS, they didn't want to push whatever. But this football team needs to get back on track and win some games of substance, and this is a game of substance that is right in front of you this weekend that you need to be able to take advantage of in your ballpark, your favorite at home.
Mm-hmm.
Get the dub.
Winning at home. I mean, if you're going to be better than last year, and you've got to win at least 2 of the last 4 to equal your conference win total, obviously, I don't know how you don't do it without winning the home games. I mean, I don't think you can count. You're not going to beat Bama, so counting on a win at LSU to replace another road loss, you really need to win 3 of 4 to kind of feel like you've met your potential, so to speak. So I don't know that they're going to do that, but I think a lot of people would settle right now for a 2-2 November at this point.
Yeah,
I think obviously the cleanest path is winning the home games. So,
And I think also with Arkansas, we mentioned this prior to the Auburn game, they were favored in that game. It was the first game you're expected to win. There was pressure more in Arkansas to win, I thought, to win that game. They came up short and didn't just come up short. They really didn't give the effort and intensity you were expecting. Now you've got another team that you're expected to beat according to Vegas, and I think there's going to be more people out there, not necessarily over 50%, but there's going to be a good chunk of people that pick you to win this game. You need to win the game, period. You need to win this football game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're coming off a bye. You just played UAPB. You need to win this game. It's not Alabama coming to this house. It's not Georgia. It's Mississippi State. Go win the football game.
You feel better about the Auburn loss today than you did after it because of them beating Ole Miss, and they have proven that to be a better quality loss if you want to look at it that way. But I hear what you're saying. I mean, how is Arkansas going to be basically off of a 2-week bye? And it's all about getting healthy and having depth back and having your starters as close to 100% as you're going to get them the rest of the way. So this is absolutely a game you should win. It's a game you got to win at home, and but I don't feel as bad today about that Auburn loss as I did a couple of weeks ago.
And especially if they find a way to win this weekend against Texas A&M, which would theoretically eliminate the Aggies from the SEC West title. It's a long shot for them at this point. But if Auburn wins this weekend, they're essentially out, and they've got that win over Ole Miss. So it'd basically be a 2-team battle with Alabama and Auburn for that SEC West crown. And Auburn would still have an uphill chance to get that. But they do have Alabama at home this year. We know crazy things happen in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, Arkansas played like a team in search of a bye week when they were up against Auburn. So hopefully some of those woes are gone. Hey, check out one of our newest podcasts on the hitthatline.com podcast network presented by Breeden RV. It's Coffee with Counsel, featuring Kevin Hickey and Brad Hull from Hickey and Hull Law Partners. Whether it's divorce, custody, paternity, or many other issues, they'll feature them there. If you're needing legal advice or legal help, you can call Kevin or Brad today in their Fort Smith office at 479-434-2414. And in Northwest Arkansas, their office number is 479-802-6560. Check out the podcast and find out more about Brad and Kevin. You can do that online at artriallawyers.com. That's artriallawyers.com.
Quick headlines coming up here on the Morning Rush. Biggest, really, NFL news that happened was Von Miller, former Texas A&M Aggie, former Denver Bronco. He is now teamed up with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey out in Los Angeles as the Denver Broncos have sent him to the Rams, and it is a big trade shakeup, and a lot of people are wondering, what is the outcome now for this Los Angeles Rams defense? What do their chances look like for a Super Bowl? We'll answer that question next on the Morning Rush right here.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
Hey, guys, enjoy your show. Out of all the sports programs in the state, I really enjoy y'all's most.
You're listening to the Morning Rush.
Atchley Air is proud to be an official sponsor of Razorback Athletics. Our service to the River Valley began in 1958, the same year that the legendary Frank Broyles took over as football coach. The Hogs have had some great coaches, but we've never had so many on campus all at once. Sam Pittman, Eric Musselman, Dave Van Horn, and Mike Neighbors, just to name a few. What an incredible team. We put together quite a team at Atchley Air, too. On game day, call the Hogs. When your AC breaks, call Atchley Air.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new 2021 trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore, Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Farm Credit has been a trusted friend for over 100 years. They are ag financing experts. So whether you're a longtime farmer, new to farming, or buying your dream home or land in the country, their experienced staff has a plan to fit your goals, needs, and your bottom line. From farms to land, livestock, equipment, and more, Farm Credit finances it all. Learn more at myaglender.com. Farm Credit is an equal opportunity lender.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partner. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out at the web at artriallawyers.com.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Ask Shelter agents Randy Milam or Brad Howell about Renter's Insurance.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria has incredible game day specials, resulting in big-time wins. Hogwash Punch is only $5, and the Hogzilla Specialty Pizza is only $16.99, made with pulled pork from Neumeyer's Rib Room, sausage, Canadian bacon, pepperoni, crispy bacon, and cheese, dusted with Neumeyer's Rib Rub. Come watch every Arkansas game at Papa's. 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
ESPN 95.3. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Crabb.
Gunn gonna throw over the middle, picked off, intercepted, Catalan again at the Arkansas 45. Across midfield, a lot of room, down the sideline, they force him out of bounds.
Start every Saturday with Arkansas Game Day 5 hours before kickoff. Presented by Randall Ford and Bud Light.
A lot of headlines to get to coming up here on the Morning Rush. It's also, yesterday was the beginning of No Shave November. We'll get our favorite facial hairstyles later on in the program. Plus, Clay, I think, is going to join us on in about 30 minutes or so.
Hey, we're brought to you by the Fence Man. They are at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. That's where you should apply in person if you'd like to join the Fence Man team. They are looking for craftsmen that have fence building skills or general building skills, welding skills, anything that you could lend a hand on when it comes to building fence. They got top pay, great benefits, and now a $500 sign-on bonus when you join the team at the Fence Man. So if you're looking for a new opportunity, maybe looking for a new place to work, or maybe you have an entire crew that can build fence, they're looking for you right now at the Fence Man. Apply in person, again, for top pay and a sign-on bonus at the Fence Man. 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. That's where you should apply in person if you'd like to join the Fence Man team. They are looking for craftsmen that have fence building skills or general building skills, anything that you could lend a hand on when it comes to building fence. They got top pay, great benefits, and now a $500 sign-on bonus when you join the team at the Fence Man. So if you're looking for a new opportunity, maybe looking for a new place to work, or maybe you have an entire crew that can build fence, they're looking for you right now at the Fence Man. Apply in person, again, for top pay and a sign-on bonus at the Fence Man. 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. That's 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. For the fence man, he ain't afraid of no work.
Let's start with Von Miller on getting traded to the Los Angeles Rams.
It's a tough day, for me. I didn't see it. Coming is just, one of those things that you just kind of walk into. I got a lot of respect for George Payton and John Elway. And we just kind of sat down and talked. And, it's for the best interest for, me and, the team as well. I still feel like, this team can go win. I still feel like this team has a lot of great players, a lot of great coaches on this coaching staff. But ultimately, it was the decision for, what was in the best interest for everybody for me to go to the Rams.
Now, what was also being reported, Tommy, kind of behind the scenes, is Von Miller has this legendary Halloween party he throws every year. And what he was expecting some rookies to help cover the tab, even though he was hosting the party, for them to chip in. Have you ever, I'm trying to think of the parties I've been to over the years that have been hosted by different people. I've brought food or drinks, but I've never chipped in money for the party itself.
I imagine their parties are on a little different level than the ones we throw or go to.
Yeah,
so.
And this is thousands upon thousands of dollars, and
just like their pay's on a little different level than we're used to as well.
I think he's made $90 million in his career just from his NFL contracts, on top of the endorsement money that he makes as well. I just found that a little peculiar, but you think about the LA defense now with Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald and just what they have out there. That is going to be a fun, and they're on my fantasy team, which I was pumped about.
One of the NFL traditions, though, is there's usually a preseason meal or something that goes on during camp, and the rookies have to pick up the tab, and sometimes that can get pricey into the tens and tens of thousands of dollars. They'll start uncorking bottles that have commas in the price tag. So, it's not uncommon to see some of these rookie tabs run $40,000, $50,000 sometimes.
They just start smiling and ordering, and then they leave, like you said, the rookies, the tab and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I remember I was eating with my dad last night, and I remember the most expensive dinner we had was a steak place in New York, and I was a kid too, so I was gasping at how expensive. So I think a side of mashed potatoes was $20-something. And he's like, "It's okay. This is the one time you can get whatever you want. Money's no object." And I honestly felt bad for ordering at the time, because when I eat a lot, but it's just normal every day.
New York City can do that too.
Yeah. And then it's just like New York. It's like, ugh, jeez.
Yeah, those must have been good mashed potatoes.
They were, from what I remember, they were pretty stinking good. So, you got an injury update from Mike McCarthy on Dak Prescott. We know he didn't play on Sunday Night Football. Here's what he said about Dak and how he hopes to play this weekend against the Broncos and practice fully on Thursday.
Well, hopeful to, we'll be adjusted Wednesday, just coming off of a Sunday night game, so we won't be in a full slate of, our workload on the Wednesday practice. So I look for him to participate in that. Everything goes normal. I would think he would be full go on Thursday.
Yeah, so hopefully Dak will get back on track. It was a big win for Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football, but we know that team is not going to be the same if their starting quarterback isn't inserted soon.
Well, there's been a lot of conversation about you've got this sizable lead in the NFC East. This is a marathon, 17 games. You're just now reaching halfway points in schedules. Try to go win one without him, and you did. And that's got to be confidence building for this team. But are you in it for the long haul? Because you're planning on playing, a few more than 17 this year and getting into the playoffs and making some noise. So I think it's been the right move to shut him down coming off the bye, and we'll see how much longer they think they can do that to get him right and healthy so that Dak can be there for you in January and maybe February when it counts the most.
And a team that wants to be there in February once again is the Kansas City Chiefs. They win last night 20-17 in Arrowhead against the New York Giants. Harrison Butker hits a field goal with a little over a minute left. And Andy Reid said it's all about this team sticking together.
Listen, everything's not beautiful right now, but we're fighting through that. That happens in this game. There's great competition in this league, which I think you saw those games yesterday, and teams that were supposed to win by X number of points get beat, and there's so much parity in this league. So you got to fight. That's the part I'm taking out of this game. Our guys battled. They didn't give up on each other. They kept working through what could have been a time when you just throw your hands up and go, oh, my God. I mean, things aren't working the way they're supposed to work. Guys didn't do that. So we'll build on that.
Dwight Fort Smith texting Tommy. He said his Chiefs are horrible. I know David in Arkansas, South Arkansas, has kind of the same sentiment because the expectations of Chiefs fans before the season to where they currently are right now have changed drastically, and this is not the football team that you anticipated headed into 2021.
Well, 8 games in, there's 7 teams that have a better record than 4-4 right now. Now the Chargers, LA Chargers, are at 4-3, as is Pittsburgh. But you just look at what's going on in the AFC, and you don't feel very good. If you make the playoffs, how far you can get in the playoffs right now. I was just scrolling down here, and Kansas City is in 3rd place in the AFC West right now. So they've got a ways to go just to sniff a playoff spot.
It's an uphill.
And remember, there is an extra spot now with the new playoff format. So, but right now where they're at, they're not looking favorable for a playoff position.
It is an uphill battle and that they're going to have to climb. We'll see if they can end up doing it. Dennis Dodder's reporting, CBS Sports, that SMU head coach Sonny Dykes is the Horned Frogs' top target. Right now we know that he's going to be linked to the Texas Tech job as well with stuff. And I still think Kendall Briles is a name that's going to be tossed around with those board of trustees in both Lubbock and Fort Worth with TCU and with Texas Tech. We'll have to see what happens with kind of his future here at Arkansas. I told Tommy this earlier, and he was surprised by this, and you should be too. You've got a top 25 matchup in College Station this weekend between the Tigers and the Aggies, and they're going, College Game Day is going to Cincinnati to watch the Bearcats play the Golden Hurricane in Tulsa. Tulsa has a losing record right now, and I know Cincinnati's the number 2 team in the AP poll, but that does not make a lick of sense to me why you would go to the game that is going to be a blowout. That is going to be a massive blowout, I would think.
But, you're not televising the game, on game day, but, how often is Cincinnati and a non-Power 5 team going to be at the number 2 spot in the polls right now? And I'm just looking through. You got Auburn and A&M, which you mentioned. That's the only other top 25 matchup you've got. So you just don't really have a whole lot of choices around the country. I'm with you. Auburn and A&M make more sense. I'm sure that the Iron Bowl's on their radar for later on this month. Maybe they don't want to risk doing Auburn twice, but they've already done Georgia twice this year as well. So, maybe Cincinnati is – I'm just looking at it from their side just to help the conversation. Maybe Cincinnati is just the best story you have to tell, and I think that's probably where they're at right now. What's the best story we have to tell over a 3-hour period?
We'll see if it's any good.
I think Ole Miss Liberty might be a great story with Hugh Freeze coming back to Oxford.
That could be one. Yeah, that's
Ole Miss at 15. That might be there'd be some interesting stories there, but probably delicate to tell with Hugh Freeze.
Yeah. Jack and Harrison wants to talk about our last headline that I have for you this morning. Jameis Winston has officially torn his ACL. That was announced. And Drew Brees has already come out and said that he is not coming out of retirement. So that looks like it's the Taysom Hill show from here on out. But it's funny that Drew had to be like, hey, I'm not leaving NBC.
Did you have a chance to see? You may not have been back yet. He was on, of course, on the studio set there with NBC, and they were going through some of this stuff, and they were asking him, "Is your phone ringing?" You had him, and he was picking up his phone, kind of, and looking at it. Nope, I'm good. I'll be at the Notre Dame game Saturday and back here with y'all Sunday. So they were even Tirico and Coach were even asking, "Hey, you getting any calls here? These are some teams that might be needing you right now." And he said, "Nope, I'll be at Notre Dame Saturday."
Breeze is staying put, and some guys, when they get into that studio role, and that's not for everyone. Coaches, a lot of times, will be there a year or two and then get back into coaching. But it's a good gig. Ask Tony Romo. Tony Romo seems to love his job.
Well, he's getting paid like he's a starting quarterback,
and that
too.
was what I was going to say, if you're really good at it. Now, I haven't watched enough of Drew Brees on Notre Dame coverage or with the games or just the studio stuff. I haven't watched enough of. I watched some, but I've listened to Tony Romo, and I think Tony Romo's great. And when you get paid like Romo does, and I don't know what I remember the numbers and the facts and figures of what Breeze is making. But when you're not taking hits and then you're making still decent money, and some guys like staying in the role.
I don't know what NBC pays him, but Romo's making, was it $16 million or something? It's mid-teens millions, which prompted Jim Nantz to want a big raise too, and he got one out of CBS. So they're paying their top crew a lot of money. But yeah, Romo's essentially making what he was making his final year as a quarterback.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And that's going to do it for your quick kitty headlines this morning here on the Morning Rush.
Hey, and we're brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. Not too late to get your favorite hot tub from Hot Springs delivered to you before the end of the year. Just go by Burton Pools and Spas and select from over 36 different models that they have right now. They just finished up the pre-order sale. I'm sure you can still get in on some of the savings with that here this week. Burton Pools and Spas has a great showroom with many of their 36 models that are on the showroom floor for you to check out. Some that are already been set up and are ready to go. They've even got some that you can come in and test out at different times of the day. So take a look at that. I like the online tool where you can look at the outside shell and change the color on it on the website. Also the inside configuration. Take a look, change the color, look at the different seating designs from the different models, all right there. So it's easy and convenient to see the sizes and the area where you're thinking about putting it, see if it'll fit in those areas. So if you're looking for a spa, and it is spa weather out there, stop in at Burton Pools and Spas for the absolute best with Hot Spring Spas. 0 Street in Fort Smith, just off I-49 at the 412 exit in Springdale, and always online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
We'll hear some more from Coach Pittman coming up. He talked with the Arkansas media yesterday. I do want to welcome in David in South Arkansas first this morning. David, I know you want to talk about your Chiefs. Go ahead, man.
Well, I think part of it goes back to, I know Tyrann Mathieu and some of the other players were getting all over the fans about toxic fan base, blah, blah, blah. And I think sometimes you get these fans, new fans, bandwagon, they jump on real fast. And they're the ones who are so quick to jump off the bandwagon because, like, oh, God, we're not winning 58-0. They suck. They're horrible. I mean, I've had season tickets for 20 years. I've been in that stadium when we were 2-14. You just have to be realistic, just like the Hogs this year. People had expectations, deservedly so. You hit a bump, and suddenly, the sky's falling, gloom and doom. You just have to temper it a little bit. But, if you're loyal, you're loyal. You're there. Anybody can be a fan when a team is winning. That takes absolutely no dedication, no loyalty whatsoever. But I heard my name. I heard the Chiefs. I had to jump in. So, gentlemen, thank you very much, and have a good day.
David, appreciate the call. And I think that's hard sometimes. And I think with the generation that I reside in, the generation below, there's a bunch of fair weather fans, not just of the Chiefs, but other sports programs that I would say previous generations have stuck through the thick and thin. And I think if you're a young Arkansas fan and you think this is pain this year, you don't know what pain is relative to what's happening in years past. I would like for younger fans to get back to sticking with a team the entire year. Another kind of phenomenon that the millennials and Generation Z are doing is they're just following player from team to team rather than sticking with the team itself. And listen, your choice is your choice. It's a free country. You can do what you want. I'm just not the biggest fan of just liking to one player, and I would rather stick with the team. That's my philosophy.
Well, fantasy football has kind of ruined that for a lot of people because you're right, you don't root for a team, or it seems like if you're a fantasy football player, unless you grew up in a specific area, you grew up in Dallas, or you grew up in Cincinnati, or you grew up in Kansas City, you're right, the younger generation doesn't really latch onto a team because their team is their fantasy team. So they're interested in fantasy points and fantasy stats more than they are a team winning. But that is one thing that I think we've seen evolve. And I think the NFL promotes it. They like it because they want you to be interested in more games. So it's part of their formula is don't be interested in just one game a day. We want you to like all these players on different teams so you watch more games
Red Zone,
every Sunday.
Ticket. Yeah, ways that they can make money off of you.
Right. So, I mean, the more games you watch, the better off everybody is. And I think that's part of their plan.
On the note of fantasy, we were watching the Bears and the Packers game a couple weeks ago, and my friends are looking at me weird because I don't cheer for any other Bear outside of Allen Robinson. But when he catches the pass, I do fist pump and yes, and they're looking at me weird. It's like,
on
why
your
are you
fantasy team?
Yeah, because he's on my fantasy team, and even though he's going against the Packers, which I knew they're going to win because Aaron just owns Chicago in every way, shape imaginable. But they were just kind of shaking their head at me. But that's what fantasy has done to a lot of different people. It's where you even cheer against your own team based on you having an own fantasy player. So you're exactly right about that. Speaking of teams, there have been some comments that have been made by Ed Orgeron about his football team and his coaching staff. And I want you to listen to him this morning. Some have made a big deal about it. Some have said you guys are just trying to stir things up. And I want your thoughts on Coach Eddie O on his football team.
Yeah, well, they're very good, as always. Very well coached. On us, okay, on us. Well, on self-scouting, we're too predictable about formations, too predictable on first down, very, very predictable on defense. We need to have more of a variety on first down. We giving them the same looks over and over again. There's not much disguise. What we line up in, we were in. So we gotta. You can't. This part of the season, you just can't put a lot of new stuff in. But we put in a couple little wrinkles to make it tough. And then the biggest part for us on defense is adjusting. We have not been in the right adjustments. We have not been in the right position according to some formations. So we had an adjustment period all last week, adjustment period all this week. We've been doing it, but we're really, really honing in and being in the right place at the right time.
He kind of went in on his coaching staff there.
He's got to lump himself into that, right? I mean, I don't think he's just pointing the finger at everyone else. He's got, it's the old adage, he's got three pointing back at him. But you've got to get it figured out. Obviously, your hardest game of the year coming up off the bye is Alabama. I just wonder how much they're still holding tightly to the rope right now, knowing that transition is coming. And the players are going to take their cues from the coaches. And do you hear defeat in his voice a little bit there?
It sounds like to me. I think that. So you remember it might have been Tom that asked Coach Pittman the question about Ed Orgeron and kind of his timeline and what's happened down there, and he said he hadn't gotten a chance to really pay attention or talk with Coach O. But when you heard Pittman at the top of our open, there's still life, there's still energy, there's still excitement for the remaining 4 games, and I'm kind of with you. I don't think. Okay, maybe we're just saying it's because he's the LSU coach, but I don't feel that sense that I felt at times when he's been the head coach of the LSU Tigers.
Yeah. Kevin Hickey texted in and says, sounds like a coach that feels free to say whatever he wants. He knows that, his time has come and gone there. The filter's not as tight because there is no repercussion because when the bowl game's over and their season's finished, obviously he's out of there. So you may hear more interesting things. You may hear some things come from Eddie O that even get more interesting as the season unfolds.
I wonder, what did that do to the psyche of the football team? It can only be a distraction and a detriment, right? It can only hurt it.
Coaches, I mean, the players take cues from the coaches. So if the coaches are being ultra critical and it's like you said, that was more critical than you hear a coach ever get about his own team, and really. Pointing the finger at really kind of going into some specifics there about formations and what we're doing specifically on first down and, predictable on defense, not making adjustments. Those are all things that players' ears are going to perk up on. And honestly, the players probably already know a lot of these things and are waiting on someone in charge to make some changes. Mm-hmm. I think players already knew everything he said.
Now, I picked up an undertone from Sam Pittman yesterday, him being asked, I think it was Nate Allen that asked him the question about Dominique Johnson getting more carries, and he kept saying he's got to get more carries, he's got to get more carries. I think we fixed that this past week. I feel like he said that the past 2 or 3 weeks. So
is there a disconnect between him and Briles, or is the message not getting across? Why is it not translating to the game plan?
Now, is that, and maybe this is a Clay question, I don't know if you know the answer, is that a Jimmy Smith issue or is that a Kendall Briles issue?
Well, who calls the plays? I mean,
but I don't know the kind of the schemes in the back line of, yes, you call the plays, but is it if you call play X, why. Is that specifically for Dominique Johnson, or is that the specific play? Is it Coach Smith's job to have the certain rotation of running backs? And that's why I'm asking the question, because I don't know if it's solely on Briles or if it's a combination of Briles and Smith, like who it is. But he was pretty.
That's a fair question you're asking, but ultimately I'll just say he's the offensive coordinator. So if he needs to get his running back coach, Jimmy Smith, on the same sheet of music with him about rotations at his position, then that's a conversation they need to have. But you're right. Coach Pittman has talked for a couple of weeks about Dominic Johnson being more involved in the game plan, and that comment is not translating to the box score at the end of the game and the number of carries he's getting.
6 carries for 91 yards, I think, in the UAPB game, and the average is off the charts, but to only get 6 carries, and it's a good problem to have, right? You got 4 running backs that you're really excited about, 2 youngins and Rocket Sanders and AJ Green that really like a lot, and then you've got a bruiser in Dominique Johnson. You've got kind of the veteran in Traylon Smith, who's a little bit of everything. So it's a good. And
then I'd even throw KJ Jefferson into that. I know he's the quarterback, obviously, but he's a 5th running back for you.
So just from a rotation purpose, just for subbing and whatnot, and he does take some of the carries, but I want to see what ends up happening the rest of the way with these final 4 games. Who's going to get the majority? It seems like Coach Pittman's really, really pushing for Dominique to kind of get that not just starting role, but as you heard from him say in the press conference yesterday, more carries.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if that's reflective in the final box score Saturday night. That Dominic Johnson had 13 or 14 carries rather than 6 or 8,
And I don't know about y'all. I don't really care. You probably have your favorite running back of those 4, which is absolutely fine. I don't care who's getting the ball as long as they're dominating. You look at the Texas game, how spread out that was, whether it's KJ, Dominique. Dominique had a touchdown. Rocket had a touchdown. AJ had a touchdown. Traylon, I think, he might have had 2 touchdowns. I know he had 1. That's the type of offense that Sam Pittman and Kendall Briles and this staff want to have, where there's so many guys getting touches, so many guys that are finding the end zone. There's no really, he should have gotten more care because they're just so dominant offensively. Now, will he be able to do that against Mississippi State this weekend? Probably not, but you'd like to have a similar type of performance that you did against Texas.
Yeah, you want to see more Dominic Johnson with carries, and then you want to see more targets to Traylon Burks. That was an issue coming into the year, is trying to get the ball in his hands more, and it seems like you can't get the ball to Burks enough. There isn't a, hey, well, that's too many times to give it to him. There is no such number, is there?
If he's getting bracketed and doubled, you don't want to throw it in doubled and triple coverage, but there hasn't necessarily.
I understand that, but there is no too many times for him to be effective with the football. He's your best football player, and seems like there's been more of an effort to get the ball in his hands and more targets to him throughout what they're doing. Hey, Clay Henry coming up. The Grounds guys, they're available in Northwest Arkansas and in the Fort Smith area to take care of your yard and get it tip-top for fall and winter. It's it's here now, in fact. They'll clean up your yard, bag all the leaves, haul everything away so you don't have to mess with nothing. They'll even put some color in your flower beds with some great fall colors. Clean out the gutters if you need it. Pressure wash the walkways and the driveways for you and get them looking great as well. Hey, keep up your curb appeal for the fall and winter months with a call to the Grounds guys, 479-303-GUYS. That's 479-303-4897. Tell them you heard it right here. Get $25 off your service with the Grounds guys. That's 479-303-GUYS.
Excited to welcome Clay back into the program and let him know that I watched Ted Lasso for the first time this week. And we'll share that and more next in Hour 2.
The temperatures may be cooling down, but at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas, the deals are still red hot. Whether you are enjoying one of over 50 state parks or tailgating with your favorite team, Wheels has the right RV to help you enjoy fall in the natural state. And at Wheels RV, every new unit comes with a lifetime warranty. So get out to Wheels and see why they were voted best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
The Powerball jackpot from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is now more than $100 million. So, what would you do if you won?
If I won the jackpot, I would buy my own racehorse.
If I won the lottery, I would buy my wife a beach house.
First person I would call would be my husband. He's got a big mouth, but I would still call him first.
Got your ticket? If not, visit your local lottery retailer for your chance to win the Powerball jackpot of more than $100 million. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Your company is known for top pay and great salaries, but how do your benefits compare to the competition? Hi, this is Brett Good with Henderson Phillips. In today's competitive labor market, great pay is no longer enough. Call me at 479-651-2292 and let's discuss your benefit plans to make sure your company has what it needs to attract and retain the best talent. I am Brett Good with Henderson Phillips. Call me today, 479-651-2292. That's 651-2292.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Oh my gourd, folks. Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources. This month, I want to say thanks. So I'm on a mission to make car buying easy as pie and help you snag a sweet deal on one of our Rath Road Ready vehicles, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. This month, you could drive a nicer, newer car and save up to $4,150. That's a lot of dough. So if your old ride is flaky, crusty, burnt, or rusty, don't let it squash your happiness. Trade it for a nicer, newer car now, even if you still owe money, and save up to $4,150. Plus, my For the People approval process makes financing your nicer, newer car easy as pie. Keeping the car you have? Get it ready for winter in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Deals this delicious won't last long, so visit us today at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Do you own apartment complexes, condos, and rental property? Then you have made a great investment. Now make another great decision by calling Trinity Multifamily to help you maximize your return. Trinity Multifamily offers full-service property management, marketing, leasing, sales, and all the services to make your cash flow. Take the hassles and frustrations out of ownership and call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
When you've escaped the screens and the sun bathes everything in a golden glow, and your friend hands you a cold organic beer that tastes as perfect as nature itself, that's pure gold. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the first national USDA certified organic beer. Organic by nature. Enjoy responsibly. 2020 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, St. Louis, Missouri.
Do you remember the joy you felt as a kid about pizza night? Remember how good it smelled? You could taste it even before you opened the box. And then that first bite. It was so good. Be the supper time savior. Order Jim's Razorback Pizza now. 434-3456. The best pizza in Fort Smith, or it's free.
Jim's Razorback Pizza.
Wheeler Power Sports has you covered this fall with a huge in-stock selection of ATVs, side-by-sides, dirt bikes, motorcycles, scooters, and more. Looking to sell or trade? Wheeler Power Sports is begging for your gently used off-road vehicle or motorcycle. Go to WheelerPowersports.com to check out the full in-stock inventory or give them a call at 479-783-5822. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
Hey, Grounds guys.
Hey, what?
Leaves. They're taking over my yard, and it looks awful. I don't have time to take care of it, and I think my dog Fifi's buried under there somewhere.
Well, Amy, you called the right place. The grounds guys are here to help. We'll clean up your yard, bag up your leaves, haul everything away, and keep your yard looking nice all winter long.
Oh, thank you, Grounds guys. You're the best.
Call the grounds guys at 479-303-GUYS. That's 303-4897. And say,
hey, Grounds guys.
And get $25 off any fall or winter service. The grounds guys, serving Northwest Arkansas.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Cloudy skies today. There is a chance of seeing some scattered showers or high this afternoon in the upper 40s north, mid-50s south. Clouds and showers tonight, and overnight low will drop down mid-30s north, low 40s south. And then a chance of showers with us on Wednesday. High temperatures in the middle to upper 40s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Hear from Hogs Illustrated's Clay Henry every Tuesday and Friday on the Morning Rush starting at 7. We'll talk Razorback history, fly fishing, golf, and anything you can think of. You're listening to the Morning Rush live from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3 KERX Paris Fort Smith.
You don't want to go 4-0 and ranked 8th in the country and then let it all slide away from you, and I don't feel like it will if we can win X number of games. I don't want to get into that, but we've won one conference game. We need to win some conference football games. We need to start this run, and like you say, they're one at a time, but this would get us bowl eligible. That'd be a big thing for us, and so that's another key to it as well.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to the Morning Rush.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse. And we've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. I am dangerous.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
I hit the 7-iron like John Daly hits the 3.
This is the Morning Rush with Ty Richardson.
You just gotta keep living, man.
And Tommy Kraft.
We follow orders or people die. Are we clear?
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
It is hour number 2 of the Morning Rush. The college football playoff rankings come out tonight, and we've got some thoughts and opinions on who are the best 4 teams in college football. Clay's going to be joining us coming up, the publisher of Hogs Illustrated, get his take from what he did this past week, and share with him a little bit of what I thought about Ted Lasso episode 1.
All right, Clay, in just a minute, we're brought to you by World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH is their number. If you're looking to take TV on the go to Deer Camp or for this weekend's game, if you're headed to Fayetteville or really anywhere, Lake House, second home, anywhere you'd need TV on the go, on the mobile, the Playmaker system is perfect. You just take it, you can put it in the car. It weighs 8 pounds, doesn't take up a lot of space. There's no tripod, there's no LMB, there's no dish to point in a certain direction. It does all of that for you. Easy to set basically on the roof of your car or anywhere you can get it clear line of sight. It finds all the satellites. They got the Duo system that can power 2 different TVs. You just plug it into your satellite receivers, and then you're up and running with the Playmaker system. Find out about the portable satellite system that's easy to use, it's affordable, and you'll love having it around from World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474.
Also got Game 6 of the World Series tonight. You can hear that right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Braves trying to close it out. We'll see if they're able to do that in Houston. Clay, you were texting me while I was out of town this weekend and finally made it to Camp Randall. And through all the flight delays, through all the madness, I pandered and looked and found Ted Lasso on, I guess it would have been American Airlines' thingamajig, the online portal or whatever, and watched an episode. Tommy, have you watched an episode yet?
I've watched the Season 1, Episode 1.
Okay, and then you and I are in the exact same boat. Clay, it was pretty funny, and I want to get more into it when I have Apple TV, but I can see why you enjoy the program because it was, even in Episode 1, there was a few giggles I had on the plane while we were going.
Yep, I'm finished with the 2 seasons. There'll be a third, and those boys and women are making a lot of money.
Yeah,
they are. It keeps going up, and it is fantastic. The writing is really well done, and they develop the characters. And hey, there's soccer background to it, some football background, but it's really about character development and just a great comedy. And you anybody will like it. It's a little bit heavy on the locker room language, so you have to get past that. You can't probably watch it with kids. But the beauty of it is that the characters are just fantastic, and they're really good actors. And hey, there's some singing in it. One of the characters, sang on what is, I guess the UK Broadway. And so she's got some talent. But it's, and you can do a 1-week trial with Apple TV, and you can watch the whole shebang.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's. I thought you'd like it. Both of you guys would probably find it entertaining, and my wife loves it. Where I was this weekend, the bedroom had Apple TV, so a lot of times when I went to bed, I'd go back and watch a couple of old issues, and really, you need to, because there's a British dialect in it, and there's sometimes you're just not quite sure exactly all the one-liners that thrown out. You pick them up a little better the second time.
Yeah. So this weekend, the return of Yellowstone Sunday night.
That's pretty good.
You gonna watch? I know you were in on this early, and then you got out on it. I am all in. My day's going to be planned around it.
It was a little bit too out there. In other words, it's like, well, that's not believable. I mean, it was always way far, the most outlandish thing that could happen. I was like, I didn't believe it. And, I watched Longmire, which I think it's a copy of Longmire and was so much better done. Anyway, that's my thought, and we faded out on it. So there's a lot of people that like it, and I touted it early, and I just like, I can't do it.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to
I will be
Sunday night. I will be glued to the TV.
What time does it come on?
7, I believe it's 7.
Okay, good. Because if it was after 9, I'd be livid. So I don't know who plays. Drew, who plays on Sunday Night Football? Do we have any idea?
I don't know off the top of my
Kevin
head.
Costner.
But Tommy, you better not come in Monday and start doing spoilers, because I gotta wait till the next day to watch it on the Peacock.
On what?
On the Peacock.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to wait and watch it because we have
no
Peacock
spoilers.
too.
I've got to watch it on Tuesday.
I was gonna say I'm gonna have to watch it on
No
Tuesday
promises,
as well.
Well, what's going to happen Saturday night, Clay? It's been a couple of weeks since the Hogs played. What happens Saturday night when Mississippi State rolls in for an afternoon game at 3:00?
Yeah, I'm excited about finally get off that 11 o'clock stuff. I mean, it was, it was tough to travel for those games, and of course, every game is a travel game for me. I'm 2 hours 40 minutes from Fayetteville. So I'm excited at 3 o'clock, and I think watching Mississippi State this weekend, they've hit their stride, and Arkansas has had virtually 2 weeks off, and they should be much better shape physically and mentally. So it ought to be it's a big game for both, and how the bowls are going to fall, and Arkansas needs to get bowl eligible, and for years, the Arkansas-Mississippi State game has really determined exactly where you fit, in the standings. Are you going to be at the bottom, or are you going to be in the middle, or you have a chance for a higher? But you need to beat Mississippi State to have a good season.
Yeah, you really can't go 0-2 against the Mississippi schools and come up with any kind of semblance of a good season. So, I mean, you're going to have to win this game to probably put together a year you're proud of, and feels like you've got the trend continuing on the same plateau in the right direction. It's just it's for 30 years it's been hard to really classify any season. It's great when you didn't beat at least one and usually both of the Mississippi schools.
Yeah, I think that Ty and I have talked about this a couple of times. It's like when does the pressure hit for Sam Pittman? Like this is a week where he seems like he's admitted this is important. This is a big game. Mm-hmm. We had a good start, and we want to have a good finish, and we don't want the finish to tarnish the start. And to do that, you need a win this week.
He specifically said in his press conference yesterday, Clay, we need to win conference games. He was very adamant at the conclusion of the press conference.
That's my point.
Yeah, what you're saying is exactly like as he just stated. It's just like we got to win conference games. We got to win, and he said that several times, and you could tell there was a heavy emphasis in his voice because he knows, as you just mentioned, the expectation of this week.
Yeah, so we're going to dive headfirst into more of this conversation. Bruce Stanton's on his way in from Pradco. We'll talk some SEC football and the Hogs for this week as well. River City Bistro will be there. Hey, it's going to be a great weekend to get out for brunch. You get there, they open at 10. You got plenty of time before the Hogs play at 3. Maybe you can go there and still head to the game and get there for a 3 o'clock kick this week. River City Bistro has a great brunch every Saturday and Sunday. Again, I mentioned they open at 10 and open till 8 o'clock on Saturdays, 3 o'clock on Sundays. Eggs any way you like it. I like the Eggs Benedict there. They even do an Eggs Benedict with the corned beef hash, the corned beef on it that is really good. So premium bacon, premium sausage, big, huge Belgian waffles, and, of course, great drink menu as well, including all your breakfast cocktail favorites at River City Bistro. So stop in for brunch this coming weekend at River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center in Fort Smith.
Dan Mullen is under a little bit of fire at Florida as well. I want to talk about what he said recently. Some people are making a big deal out of it. Some people are saying, hey, you're making too big of a deal out of it. We'll talk about that next and more Pittman stuff on the Morning Rush.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
This is Zubin Mehenti with ESPN Radio, and you're listening to the Morning Rush.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you're a fence builder or have building experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay, health, dental, and vision benefits, plus a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Are you looking for someone to cater your tailgate party, office party, any party? Have you heard of them Rub It Snout guys? They are best known for their all-grub dry rubs and fresh pork rinds, but they also offer catering. They offer a variety of smoked or grilled meat options, along with jambalaya paired with side options of your choice. Go to rubitsnout.com to place your order and view all of the catering options available. Rub It Snout offers local catering in the Northwest Arkansas area.
What does everybody want this year? Their very own hot tub. Hot Spring Spas makes every day better. Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith have the very best deals on hot spring spas. Supplies are very limited, so let Burton Pools and Spas know that you want one and claim your hot tub. Choose from over 36 models. They are already ordered and waiting for you to pick yours out. Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith and online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
You know Hardee's made from scratch biscuits, and you know they're hand-breaded chicken. But have you tried Hot Honey? A new sauce drizzled on the hand-breaded chicken biscuit? This honey has some bite, one taste, and you'll never hit snooze again. Try it for yourself with the new Hot Honey hand-breaded chicken biscuit at Hardee's.
Feed your happy. Available for a limited time. Participating Hardee's restaurants. Hot Honey hand-breaded chicken biscuit is available during regular breakfast hours. Price of participation may vary.
Are you a contractor needing some color picking help for your customers? The Paint Store in Van Buren will do that. We know what contractors need. We've done it for 33 years. Send your customers to us. We will take care of them in a friendly way. Let us do some work for you. Our blend of Richards paint makes the choice easy. The Paint Store in Van Buren is ready to help your customers right now. Call us at 474-4505 or stop by 1414 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new 2021 trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore, Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Kohler & Green Insurance today in Fort Smith at 484-9888 and Kohler & Green Insurance in Van Buren at 474-9888.
Archery season is underway, and black powder season is just a few days away. Jelco Outdoors has a great selection of muzzleloaders and hunting accessories for this year's primetime hunt. It's time to get all your gear for deer season, and Jelco Outdoors is ready to help you get ready for a great time in the deer woods. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors. And remember, a great hunt begins at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Only 10% of collision repair shops achieve ICAR Gold Class status, the highest training level recognized in the industry. Evans Body Shop is proud to be one of them. We know the latest repair techniques, how to find hidden damage, and repair your car's critical safety features so they work properly again. We invest in training because we would never cut corners with your family's safety at stake, and neither should you. Get your vehicle repaired at Evans Body Shop, where your safety is our top priority. Evans Body Shop, 412 Gordon Avenue, Van Buren.
Evans Body Shop, where we meet the nicest people by accident.
The Game Day Lodge in Branson is the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team building activities. You'll find 10 bedrooms with 19 beds for up to 28 guests, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, poker table, 2 kitchens, 2 laundry rooms, a fire pit, 2 gas grills, outdoor basketball court, a heated indoor swimming pool nearby, and a 10-minute drive to Silver Dollar City. Not to mention near some of the best golf courses. Just search Game Day Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Airbnb, and VRBO.
Have you ever been to River City Bistro for a brunch on the weekends? Every Saturday and Sunday, River City is open at 10 a.m. with a special brunch menu. Eggs and omelets any way you like. Premium bacon, sausage and ham, waffles, eggs Benedict, and a great drink menu featuring mimosas, Bloody Marys, and all your brunch favorites. We will see you for brunch every Saturday and Sunday starting at 10 a.m. at River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
ESPN 95.3.
Good morning to the Morning Rush, everybody.
Pass deflected, picked off, intercepted by Catalan at the 47 to the near sideline, inside the 40, inside the 30. Flags come in. Catalan leaps over a man at the 10.
Did you miss a segment or interview during the show? Find it in the Bud Light Seltzer Morning Rush podcast. Just search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
Do want to spend some time on Mississippi State here coming up. Mississippi State is the only team right now in college football that have 3 wins against currently ranked top 25 teams. I thought that was an interesting statistic. Kentucky, North Carolina State, and then Texas A&M are the teams that are currently in the top 25. Also some SEC stuff that we'll get into. But first, I want to tell you about our friends at Razorback Camper Sales. Fall camping season is here. Not only do they have a huge selection of travel trailers, fifth wheels, and pop-ups, Razorback Camper Sales also offers full prep and setup at no extra cost, so you can leave the lot and start camping immediately. You'll have access to the best parts and service department in the state, and it's the oldest family-owned RV dealer in Arkansas. They've been in business for over 50 years. Come see why our customers are always happy in Hot Springs or online at RazorbackCamperSales.com. So you must love what's going on in Gainesville right now with Florida fans being ticked off at
Bruce
Dan
Stanton
Mullen
in here with us from Pradco.
Well,
play Henry back.
Dan Mullen's got a couple of problems. One, he's 4. Well, he's got 3 problems. 1, he's 4-4. 2, he just got embarrassed in the cocktail party. And 3, he's not Steve Spurrier and doesn't know how to act in public like Steve Spurrier. You can't act snarky and mad at the world and like a withdrawn, sullen child when you're losing football games and blow off recruiting. Like, we'll talk about recruiting after the season's over when Kirby Smart's across the street recruiting every living, breathing second of the day and is regarded as the best recruiter. Even Paul Feinbaum saying it over Saban. So the Florida fan base is really seeing a big disparity between Kirby Smart and Dan Mullen, and they're not liking it right now. So I think what Feinbaum said yesterday, I don't know if I agree with it, but Florida's got a pretty easy schedule the rest of the way. I think they play South Carolina, Missouri, Florida State, and there's like a throwaway game in there against a non-Power 5 team.
Samford.
Yeah, Samford. So they say if he loses one of those games, he's probably in trouble. Florida State, that's a team that's played well. They got talent. They just can't seem to win. That could be a mess-up game for him. It's in Gainesville. If you lose to Florida State in Gainesville and have all the Gator fans booing at you, that could be a bad deal.
Boy, they gave Clemson all they wanted this weekend.
They did. And not that Clemson's any good, but I think it shows Florida State's not quitting. They're trying to put something together. I think they got a good coach.
They should have beat Clemson.
They probably should have. Probably should have beat Notre Dame. That they're just they're 3-5. They're a couple of plays away from having a winning record.
So, Clay, I don't know if you've heard the quote that Bruce addressed, but this was what Dan Mullen was asked about recruiting, and as Bruce just said, not the most eloquent response.
Coach, the topic of recruiting has come up a lot the last couple of days from a few angles. Is a different approach needed for the level of consistency?
Well, we're in the season right now. We'll do recruiting after the season, and when it gets to recruiting time, we can talk about recruiting.
Sounds good.
Okay. Next question.
Now, Clay, one of the things that you've really noticed about Sam Pittman is what you always address is what he learned from Kirby Smart is, as Bruce just brought up, you always have to be recruiting. There's a reason Georgia spends the most, and Arkansas is now, I know you were gone this past week, but Arkansas is in the top 5 of recruiting spending now. Georgia's at, I think, 3.68, and Arkansas is in the high 2s. So he's definitely taking a page from Kirby Smart's book rather than Dan Mullen's book and making sure that they're recruiting nonstop 24/7.
Yeah, there's been a series of missteps as far as what Dan has said. You go back to SEC Media Day when he said 8-4 is a good season at Florida. Well, it's not. I mean, if you look at what Urban Meyer did there and what Steve Spurrier did there, 8-4 isn't what the Gator fans want to hear, and that's what they're staring at again. Now, in regards to that latest quote, if you really dig down deep in it, he didn't say they're not recruiting. He just said we're going to talk about it later.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you his assistant coaches are recruiting. But that's what he should have said. We're working hard in recruiting, but we won't discuss it. But that's hardly what he said. Mm-hmm. And it's sound bites, are great for us, and just sometimes a coach misspeaks, and he did. And
the question,
there's no way that they are minimizing recruiting in Florida right now. I mean, you just can't do it. There's not any way that that's what's happening. But he doesn't want to talk about it, and he doesn't want to discuss names, and he can't discuss names. But he just it's just. Hey, let's talk about something else is what he should have said, and we'll talk about recruiting, but we're working hard in it.
I don't think he realized how his response came across
because
that was too open.
Yeah.
He's too open. That was too open a question for him not to just give a coach cliche answer for 30 seconds and move on. And he's too seasoned a veteran coach to get caught in that trap there, but I think
it's because
really,
he's upset
right.
and he's not happy,
right.
And we sensed that last
frustrated.
year. And he if there was a pro job, he said several times he doesn't like the NIL, he doesn't like where it's headed, he doesn't like the transfer portal, the portal. It's all the things that make his job hard he doesn't like. So he's. Let's face it, Dan Mullen is a great offensive coordinator. He can call plays with the best of them, but he is not a real good CEO, head coach that has his hands wrapped around everything and understands how to handle the media. That's just not something he does well.
And there's a lot more microphones in Florida than there are in Mississippi, frankly. I mean, he probably was a little snarky when he was coaching Dak. Probably not that year because they were ranked number 1 and he overachieved. But you're under a lot more scrutiny at a school like Florida than you are at Mississippi State, and some people just can't handle it.
Yeah, apparently on a daily basis, what he dealt with in Starkville were 2 guys. 2. That's all there was. Yeah. And, he talked to them like you and I talk. And he didn't have a bank of cameras, from, 3 different, big TV metro markets and, people ginning for copy, all around the state, the Gainesville paper and then the Jacksonville and the Tampa area and Orlando. I mean, that's just the way, that's the nature of the beast at Florida. He is to just be real blunt, he's not a good person. He is not. He is mean.
How do you really feel, Clay? How do you really feel about him?
He's just mean and nasty, and he treats people. He's not well thought of in the coaching fraternity. He's not well thought of, by his players, and he's getting what he deserves.
I do not want to end up on the Clay Henry's bad person segment. I'll just say that.
Clay saying that about Dan Mullen. I can only imagine what he says behind closed doors about me. But
well, you don't want to know. I've heard
he
some
says
of
that
it.
out in front of everybody.
Yeah, he airs out the dirty laundry. But no, I think Clay's onto something there with what he's talking about with Dan Mullen, because I mean I've talked to I've got a few buddies that went to Florida, and know a handful or two, not a handful, one or two media members down there, and they said that he can be difficult to deal with at times. And when you're winning, as you brought up at Mississippi State, and you're in a lesser situation, media attention, as Clay just mentioned, that stuff is kind of put under the rug. But now he's in Florida. I mean, that team last year had generational talent. Kyle Pitts is one of the best tight ends we've seen in the SEC in the last decade. Kyle Trask played. Now, I'll give Dan credit. He's an incredible quarterback whisperer. Kyle Trask has been a backup his entire life, and he turns Trask into a Heisman Trophy equivalent player. And they had guys. I think Kadarius Toney was on that team, right? So they had dudes all over the place, and especially offensively. And they just, again, 8-4. They had that inexplicable loss to LSU where that cornerback threw the shoe. They gave Alabama all they wanted in the SEC championship game, but I mean, the expectation of Florida is to win national championship when Urban's done it, Steve's done it, and now go ahead.
Here's the thing. I think a lot of these coaches see Saban, and he is snarky. He is very terse with his responses. He's an intimidator, and I think a lot of the SEC coaches and coaches in general see that and think it's okay. But you know what? When you've won 6 or 7 national championships, I guess you can do whatever you want because you're going to get recruits anyway. If you're 4-4 and you just got hammered by your biggest rival, you probably need to act more like Sam Pittman and be a little more humble and a little more endearing and a little more funny. And Mullen's probably going to have a better record than Pittman, but probably most parents, recruits, coaches would rather hang out with Pittman because he's just such a nice guy. He's not on Clay Henry's bad person list.
A better record in a weaker
Don't hold your
East,
breath waiting for him to flip the script and do the things that you just said as far as going to a press conference and be fair and honest and listen and attentive to the questions. And Sam doesn't answer all of them. He's I'm not going to answer that, but he's honest and he's not rude.
So I mean, when you got Florida to recruit, you'd think you could come up with a pretty good 30 or 40 second answer that would be passable. I mean, you've got the state of Florida right there to recruit.
Look how bad Florida football is right now.
Miami,
Florida State, and Florida. I think Florida's got the best record at 4-4.
Yeah. Because everybody in college football wants to come in your front yard, not your backyard, and get the best.
And you know who's happy about that? Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, because they're just plucking them away. And Heupel should be happy about that too. Now, you just brought
Sam Pittman is taking them too.
That's a good point. Now, you just brought up recruiting. This is a wild statistic that I heard yesterday during the press conference. Trey Biddy at Hog Sports was talking about. Danny mentioned this, and I know Dudley probably knows this as well, Clay. They didn't have any official visitors this past month. Not a single one. Think about that. The entire month, Arkansas did not have a single official visitor. And I know that with the game time being at 3 o'clock, that's big to have those guys in for Saturday. And Coach Pittman was asked about that, just being able to get guys in-house for this game this weekend.
We're going to keep that.
We've addressed that last week, trying to get as many recruits as we possibly can from Mississippi State, just simply because of what we would anyway, but simply because of what you just spoke about. So I think we've got a pretty fine list working right now to get the recruits here at 3 o'clock. Ideally, if you want to recruit, the time would be a night game, like Texas. And then unless a guy's just adamant that he wants to see a game, or if he's so far away and he says, hey, I want to see the atmosphere, then we would rather bring him in December if we could, simply because you get 48 hours with the parent, with the young man. But, parents earn that right to be on a, wine and dine education type visit.
And I would think, if it's someone you really want to build a relationship with, someone you maybe haven't been to their school, haven't spent as much time in, a game atmosphere is great, but the coaches are so busy and locked in depending on staff to do a lot of the relationship building and entertaining. Bruce, you can really get one-on-one with a position coach and a player, a coordinator and a player, when you bring you in December for a good basketball game. I know the Kentucky game's not till February, but there's going to be some great basketball atmospheres that you can utilize and then have more quality time, I guess you'd say, quality time with these official visits when you get them on campus, not on a game day.
Yeah, we all know 11 a.m. just it's not conducive for recruiting. I mean, it's just it's hard for players to, that live any distance at all. I mean, you live in Greenland, yeah. You live in Farmington, yeah. You live in Fort Smith, yeah. Bentonville, yeah, you can do 11 o'clock, but you start stretching it out. It's like you're going to have to be leaving in the wee hours. And
well, the schedule wasn't good for it either. You only had the Auburn game. Yeah,
Texas A&M, and you can't have visitors for that. Little Rock, you can't have it for that. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Yeah. And they'll make hay, this month and in December. And if you look, though, they're pretty much locked up. They're going to bring in the guys to fill out these spots, in December. There's not a whole lot left of, as far as this class to really put it to bed.
Yeah, and I don't with the basketball team, Tommy and I have been discussing this. There's really not this massive non-conference game outside of at home, outside of probably West Virginia, that you really want to be in attendance for.
That's later on in the year. So.
And that's kind of not in the middle of SEC play, but kind of more at the beginning. I think it's in January, if I remember that right. The beginning of SEC conference play. It's kind of a blimp there. So hopefully you'll still have some good atmospheres for that conference. But kind of the start, I mean, you think about that statistic that I just brought up, and I don't want to take credit for it. That's a Danny West thing, but I mean, to not have an entire official visitor, Bruce, the entire month, that hurts your recruiting. That is tough on your recruiting when you can't do that based on the schedule that's been allotted to you.
That's surprising. I didn't know that. Maybe they had a good reason for it, but that is surprising.
Yeah.
Well, the reason,
just look at the schedule.
Yeah, you said you only had the Auburn game, and it was. I mean, the only chance you had was when you played Auburn. So I mean, you were just limited on opportunities because you were in Oxford. You were on the road so much in the month of October. Then your final game against UAPB, you could give tickets, but that was it. So just. The schedule had as much to do with it as anything.
Yeah. Well, just think about it in these terms, guys. If you want an official visit and the guy's playing high school, well, he can't get the 3-day window. I mean, he's got a game Friday night, and he's not going to stay over and miss class on Monday. So you really – that's not when you bring in official visitors.
No, you've got week 10 this week. Then you're going to have teams start missing playoff games next week, so you'll probably see that increase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the high school playoffs, it's not this weekend, but next weekend.
This is week 10. So, okay. The high school playoffs in Arkansas begin a week from Friday. So the 12th, I guess that is.
Our coaches, do they put more emphasis on playoff games, or college football coaches, recruiting-wise? I know that we heard from, I think it was Coach Pittman talking about just high school football itself, but how much more emphasis do they put on playoff games than they do just regular season games? Or much, or is it just kind of?
I don't think so. I mean, you're evaluating the player, not the team. There's a lot more that goes into that. So I don't think anymore. Now, will they be out visiting, 2023 and 2024 prospects and maybe some of the commitments that are in your 22 class at their playoff game? Sure. I mean, they may be visible at these places, but I don't think the game carries any more weight just because it's a playoff.
I think coaches go to the windows whenever the window is, and they go to the game whenever they can go. I remember seeing Mike Anderson in the stands when Corliss played at Northside, just because that's when he could come see him play. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So is it going to go as follows? Bryant wins 7A, Lake Hamilton wins 6A, PA wins 5A. Is that a good estimate of those top three?
Bryant should, but they play Conway this week. That'll be a heck of a game.
I mean, Lake Hamilton got beat by Benton last weekend. Greenwood's still in the mix there. That's six in Parkview. The top four in that 6A West is it's very, very competitive.
Greenbrier's 9-0 in 5A,
and they play Valonia, who's 9-0.
And
they play Friday night for the 5A conference.
What's that rivalry called? I know it's
the
called
Governor's Cup, I believe.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I worked that game once. They flew the game ball in on a helicopter.
Did they really?
Yeah.
That's why when we used to drive to Greer's Ferry out there, we'd pass through Greenbrier and Bologna. And,
I'll just say that elevates those people way too much.
the game ball getting flown in on a helicopter. Man, that's pretty. I remember when we didn't have turf field at Little Rock Christian, we had grass field, and it rained so much the night before, y'all. They flew in a helicopter before we played Pulaski Academy on ESPN to dry off the field, and that thing was still muddy as all get out. And then we beat the tar out of PA on national television that night. That was absolutely glorious.
Easy to remember that one time.
Yeah, hey, there's been a handful there. Beat them in the state championship. Whoop their ass too.
Yeah, getting a little lippy over there. So hey,
that's a guy that doesn't have to make any tackles.
That's
exactly right. That's a guy that's in the stands.
That's a real bad person.
Yeah. Hey, Clay, you know what I got in my hand here? I got some Bobby Garland original baby shad monkey milk, your favorite. I got them right here in my hand, and they may or may not make their way to your house. So
I got some already.
Yeah, but I got some more. But I got some more.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing that I don't understand is I know, Bruce, that you're bringing him some Smithwick Rattling Rogues.
Yes, sir.
I have never seen one of those.
Man, we brought the chrome black back, chrome blue back. We brought the clown. We brought the gold rogue, table rock shad. And we make about 60 colors in them.
Yeah.
Tommy's probably got half.
I got 58 of them. Yeah. So
yeah. So Bruce, you and I, we're gonna cut out the middleman.
Okay. We'll do the show from
I'll
up
send
there.
you flies.
After
You give me an address.
Yeah.
I'll send you flies, and you send me some rogues.
Yeah. So you got us some shads. You also got some crappie fishing stuff. Tell us what's going on here.
Crappie's heating up as the water cools down. My sales manager, Chad Van Cooten's been whipping them down on Washita, fishing a lot of docks, brush piles with baby shad and monkey milk. The head doctor is you will actually shoot that bait under the dock. You will screw that Bobby Garland baby shad on the top of that bait, and you'll actually, it's kind of like bow and arrow shooting. You kind of bend your rod over and you skip that bait under the dock. And a lot of times those crappie are hanging out under that cover, and you really can't cast in there. You'll wrap around cables and stuff, or you'll hit somebody's boat.
Tommy can't do that, Bruce, so just send that stuff to me. I got the bow and arrow cast.
There you go. And then we got a sickle head, just a little overbite size hook. And, crappie, you always want to use light jig head, 64 32nd, 16th ounce, light line, 4, 6, 8 pound test. And, But the baby shad, this is the time of year it shines. You can get them at Walmart Bass Pro Shops. You can get them at Academy. You can get them at Gelco. You can get them at Dick's Sporting Goods. Pretty much anywhere they sell crappie fishing lures, they got baby shads.
At Walmart and Mountain Home, if you go in there, if you're up there fishing either of the lakes or either of the rivers, you're going to find about anything you want. That's of all the Walmarts, that's the place to get your.
We call that flex space. They have flex space for striper lures. Like you can get cotton cordell red fins. You can get cotton cordell wally divers and Smithwick rogues. They do a great job at the Mountain Home Walmart.
All right, and those baby shad, those Bobby Garlands are made right here in
Smith, Arkansas.
Yeah, so made by the millions. Well, Bruce, good to see you. Good to have you back in studio, and we need to get on the river soon.
That's it.
Gonna be prime time here pretty soon. Prime time coming up here for all.
Maybe
the
Dan Mullen could go with us.
He can start recruiting some of them browns and rainbows up there on the White River.
He might have some free time soon, based on how everything's going.
Hey, if he's going, I'm not going.
You wouldn't take him to Heidi's for a bologna sandwich?
I'm not going to have him talk to me the way he talks to those folks down in Florida.
All right, good to see you, Bruce, and we'll get Clay in a better mood for next week.
There you go.
All right, Bruce Stanton with Pradco Fishing. He joins us every Tuesday here on the Morning Rush. You can find everything Pradco makes online at lurenet.com. Hey, great time to head to the White River. We were talking about the White River and getting up Mountain Home. If you're in that area, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and Gaston's is the place to go. It's scenic views from every cabin there on the White River at Gaston's. They got 80 cabins and lodges to choose from. It's fireplace season as well, so get one of those cabins or lodges with a private fireplace that you can enjoy. They'll just keep bringing that firewood to you, and you can start and end your day with that. They've got a fire pit that's right along the bank of the White River. That is a great way to kind of unwind, and particularly if you got a group, great place to kind of meet and relax and share your fishing stories as well. And then, of course, from the restaurant, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, a great view of the White River. Of course, the only way to go when you're there is one of their guided fishing trips on the White River in one of their topwater boats. You're going to enjoy the comfort of that and the expertise of their guides that have been on staff for decades. Call and make your reservation, whether it's the holiday coming up at Thanksgiving or maybe New Year's or Christmas time at Gaston's. 870-431-5202. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
Follow the show on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine.
This is Dave Neal with ESPN. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Hog fans, this is Robert.
And this is Matt, and we're from the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville.
So, Matt, check this out. 'Twas the night before game day, and all through the shop, everyone was excited the Hogs would come out on top. The stockings were hung on the goalposts with care, in hopes that a Razorback victory soon would be theirs.
Your dad's side just won't go away, will it?
Nope, and you know what? It never will.
Folks, while Dad seems to be Dad, Christmas shopping has officially begun.
And everybody wants Razorback stuff for Christmas.
The Stadium Shop is the perfect place for all those Hog fans on your Christmas list.
Yep, Matt's right. Whether it's a t-shirt, sweatshirt, or fan cave stuff, the Stadium Shop has what all Hog fans want.
Razorback stuff!
So stop by 989 South Razorback Road next to Baumwalker Stadium, or Matt, if you will, tell them about that interwebs WW stuff.
Sure. Our website is shoponrazorback.com. That's shoponrazorback.com. Or you can call us at 479 Stadium, 479-782-3486. Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go Hogs.
The temperatures may be cooling down, but at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas, the deals are still red hot. Whether you are enjoying one of over 50 state parks or tailgating with your favorite team, Wheels has the right RV to help you enjoy fall in the natural state. And at Wheels RV, every new unit comes with a lifetime warranty. So get out to Wheels and see why they were voted best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer opens like every other seltzer, pours like every other seltzer, but it's not like every other seltzer. USDA certified organic, no added sugar, and low cal, so you've never seen another seltzer quite like it. And with new refreshing flavors like black cherry and watermelon strawberry, you've never tasted one like it either. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes. Enjoy responsibly, not a low-calorie food. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Whole Hog Cafe on Phoenix Avenue is now open 11 till 8 Monday through Saturday. Whole Hog Cafe has party packs for your watch party, tailgate party, business meetings, or lunch and dinner for the family. You will see a few new items on the menu to go along with the award-winning barbecue and sides. Whole Hog Cafe, Phoenix Avenue, offers online ordering at wholehogfortsmith.com, along with curbside and delivery service. Or come see us 11 till 8 Monday through Saturday. Follow Whole Hog Cafe on Facebook and Instagram for specials.
You have a job, kids, and a million things to do in no time, and now your car needs to be serviced or fixed or tires? Jody'sAuto.com will make your life easier. Free shuttle service. Pickup delivery service free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. Jody'sAuto.com will make your life easier and take better care of your vehicle at the same time. Hi, Kim Bircher. See, the thing is, Jody'sAuto.com does everything. Everyday oil change specials. Tires are price matched, including the warehouse clubs and all the best brands. Any services, brakes, alignments, all the way to engines, and any maintenance. You are trusting your vehicle to a local company in business for 37 years. Voted best of the best time and time again. Honesty and customer service is always our #1 goal. We will make your life much easier. Jody'sAuto.com. JODYS auto.com.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Ask Tiffany Newman in Mulberry or Warren Robertson in Alma about Shelter's home insurance.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Have you been looking for your next place to call home and just haven't found the right one? Then it's time to check out the properties at Trinity Multifamily. With a variety of apartments, duplexes, townhomes, and houses, there is surely one to fit your needs. Whether it's in the River Valley, Northwest Arkansas, or Central Arkansas that you are looking at, they have you covered. Give them a call today. Trinity Multifamily, 479-452-1817. That's 479-452-1817. Or online at trinitymultifamily.com to search rental properties near you.
You know the old saying, give weeds an inch and they'll take your yard. Call Tri-Hill to fight off those weeds. We do yard treatments, fertilization at an affordable price, and always our estimates are free. We also do arbor jets for trees and treatment for your shrubs. Call Tri-Hill Turf and Pest Control, servicing the River Valley since 1986. Area code 479-782-0404. Tri-Hill Turf and Pest Control.
ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Oh,
yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship. The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season.
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
So I don't know if you should be happy or sad about this. I know some of you will be happy. Some of you will wish this game was closer to non-night. But the LSU game's at 6:30 next week on the SEC Network in Baton Rouge in Death Valley. Now, Clay has told us a story or two going down there at night. I've never been to Death Valley. I've been to Baton Rouge for a baseball game and got to go to Alex Box. But I was a little surprised. I think, Tommy, I came in your office yesterday, and we were both surprised at this game at 6:30.
I was hoping it's 11. The only people happy that road games at 6:30 in Baton Rouge are the deer hunters who can go out all morning and be out, as long as they want and be back home in plenty of time to watch the game at 6:30. It'd be plenty dark by then because no one that listens to this show would ever shoot a deer after dark. None of our listeners would do that, Clay. So, so that's the only people happy about a 6:30 start in Death Valley.
That's a Dan Mullen type thing.
That's a Dan Mullen move right there. And I know Clay Henry's not happy about 6:30 because that just presses you that much closer to deadline.
It's okay. Yeah, I'll be fine. I think the trade-off is everybody's going to have a big time, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
LSU, speaking of the Tigers, y'all, the LSU and Arkansas, they'll play tonight at 5 o'clock on the SEC Network. Now, you lost to them 4-2 last week. You were going to have an undefeated record in conference, but the Tigers got the better of you in Baton Rouge, so you get a little revenge potentially tonight.
And I don't know the first thing about how the committee goes about seeding things and the importance of this game. You'd like to go win this. You got close last year, but Clay, I guess national seeding's still at stake. I don't know if back-to-back losses, one at the end of the regular season and another one in the conference tournament, would adjust where you're at on the bracket. But for Colby Hill, I know that's got to be a thought somewhere.
Yeah, I think their RPI is still going to hold up. Yeah. I mean, they're going to be.
I'm glad you know what it is.
Yeah, they're going to be in the top 8 regardless, and so I think that. But yeah, you win a game or two, really enhances that.
Yeah.
Sam Pittman was asked about the status by Tom Murphy yesterday of Traylon Burks. Here's what he responded with what Burks is kind of dealing with.
So we rested it. I think he's going to be fine. Did some other things, but I think he'll be ready to go. He had a good practice yesterday and did not practice at all last week. Some walks, did the walks, but been kind of a nagging deal ever since fall camp.
We got to remember that it seems like Traylon Burks has dealt with injuries all season long, and he still has been productive as all get out and has really submitted himself. I saw we talked about this, Clay, when you were gone last week. Mel Kiper has him as the 6th wide receiver on his big board, which me and Tommy were kind of shocked and blown away by. Everywhere else I've seen him in the top 3. Chris Olave at Ohio State, I think, has predominantly been the number one on most people's lists. But I think Mel's a little off, and he's the draft expert. I know that, but I'd be hard-pressed to find 5 other better college football wide receivers than Treylon Burks.
Yeah, I think when they get him into the combine and he's healthy, I think you'll see that change a little bit. And I think that the NFL scouts they know who's hurt and who's not and who's full speed, and that question's in. I should say Mel Kiper does, and just because Mel Kiper says one thing, it does not mean it is the gospel. That's his opinion, and he'll be. You could throw a blanket over it and he'll be close. And what one team might think of, or 6 teams might think of Burks might be different than what he thinks.
How about former Razorback running backs coach Jeff Traylor getting the pay raise that he did at UTSA? Now, I don't know what Barry got as far as the pay raise goes. We were talking about that during the break. He's all the way up to $2.8 million a year, guys. And kind of a lot of people are speculating, would he go to Texas Tech? Would he go to TCU? But, guys, he's staying in San Antonio. Yeah. Is it the Roadrunners?
The Roadrunners. They're getting ready for that conference move, I guess, to the American they're moving to.
Yep.
So they're going to go ahead and pay him on that scale. I would imagine that's a good deal for Barry Lundy as well. But that's got to be – it's probably not quite Big 12 money, but it's pretty close, Clay.
Yeah, they announced that they had jumped their pool of money for assistant coaches up, and they'll start with him. I mean, I'm talking about Barry. He'll get a nice chunk. And that doesn't mean that's where he stays. And I would think that he's going to have to turn down a head coach job somewhere. And I'm not saying it's going to be Tech or TCU, but Barry needed to be an offensive coordinator and have a track record of success. Now he's got it. He's done really well, and you knew he would. He just needed to be exposed to that. And I think that his background and his steady ascent is a coveted coach, and I think he's exposed to more than just Arkansas recruiting, which has helped him as well. And I think that you'll see him be a head coach soon.
When I saw this news initially, my immediate thought was that's one less candidate for the TCU and Texas Tech job, and I think that in turn makes Kendall Briles a more viable candidate for one of those positions. That was just my initial thought when I saw this news.
And the question is, if he left for another job, if he bolted, would Sam turn to Dow Loggins, who's on staff, or would Barry become a prime target and candidate, or would he look elsewhere? That would be interesting to see if he's putting that. And he spoke earlier in the year about the difficulty following the season. You got players entering the transfer portal. You got to deal with that, and you got coaches trying to get scooped up by other head coaches around the country. So early December, we'll start seeing, if there's any movement there. But you can bet there's going to be some guys on the Arkansas staff that other teams want to come after.
Yeah, don't discount Barry Odom being a candidate at one of those 2 jobs either. And I think, we've seen that, the defensive has taken a little bit of a dive of late, but it's all related to injuries. And I think he is really well respected in the community of coaches.
Last Hog update for you this morning. Darian Ford, we put this out at the very end, the tail end of yesterday's show, but if you didn't get a chance to hear it yesterday, he is going to sign his national letter of intent with the University of Arkansas November the 14th at the Magnolia Performance Arts Center, 1473 East Greenwood. The 14th, y'all, is on a Sunday. So not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. Darian will
day after the LSU game.
Yeah, Darian will sign his national letter of intent. Joseph Pinion of Morrilton is set to sign his this month as well. So now we just have to wait on the timeline of Nick Smith Jr., Jordan Walsh, and Barry Dunning Jr., where they'll announce they're signing to the University of Arkansas. And that's going to do it for your Hog Update, brought to you by Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
So Chris Pratt is the new voice of the Garfield movie coming up, and that had me going back to my childhood, reading comics in the Sunday paper. Gentlemen, did you guys have a favorite comic growing up? Mine was Calvin and Hobbes. Bill Watterson, national treasure. That was my favorite comic. Did either of you have a favorite comic growing up as we close down here?
Probably Garfield was one. I mean, I remember every weekend that would be the first thing when Dad was reading the paper. That was one page he'd let me have.
The comic section.
He wanted the sports, then the news, and I was free to go with the comics early on when I was 6 or 7 years old. So,
was there one called Family Circus?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a great one too.
That was probably where I'd start. I'm not. It figures that you like the comics, Ty. I pretty much never did.
I like the comics, the food section.
I mean, it just kind of fits you, yeah.
All right, I guess.
Was there one that was just all hobbits?
There was not. I don't remember an all Hobbit comic, Clay. Can't remember that. I had to say Calvin and Hobbes was my favorite easily. All right, hour 3 coming up. Want to get into another conversation. Stay tuned for that next.
What does everybody want this year? Their very own hot tub. Hot Spring Spas makes every day better. Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith have the very best deals on hot spring spas. Supplies are very limited, so let Burton Pools and Spas know that you want one and claim your hot tub. Choose from over 36 models. They are already ordered and waiting for you to pick yours out. Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith, and online at burtonpools.com. Burton Pools and Spas, your source for backyard fun.
Tired of wearing contacts, glasses, or bifocals? Volt Vision of Northwest Arkansas has an option for you no matter your age. LASIK or clear lens exchange. Quick 15-minute procedure, easy 24-hour recovery, and freedom from contacts, glasses, and or readers. Bold Vision, that's VOLD Vision. Mention ESPN for $500 off your LASIK or clear lens exchange procedure. Bold Vision, the official eye care provider of the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunities, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
The Powerball jackpot from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is now more than $100 million. So, what would you do if you won?
If I won the jackpot, I would buy my own racehorse.
If I won the lottery, I would buy my wife a beach house.
First person I would call would be my husband. He's got a big mouth, but I would still call him first.
Got your ticket? If not, visit your local lottery retailer for your chance to win the Powerball jackpot of more than $100 million. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC is the River Valley's truck superstore. No one has a bigger selection of new and pre-owned trucks. If you need a regular cab work truck, Harry has them, and the biggest selection you'll find anywhere. Over 60 full-size pre-owned trucks are in stock now, and over 250 pre-owned vehicles are on the lot. And for the first time in 90 days, new 2021 trucks are on the ground. When the other dealers don't have it, Harry does. The area's truck superstore, Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Oh, my goodness.
The Golf Nut has been Fort Smith's #1 golf shop since 1994. It's not too early to start thinking about that special someone on your list. So stop in now and check out their great selection of in-stock inventory. As always, check Facebook for daily specials. For all of your golfing needs, stop by the Golf Nut today, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith.
Oh, wow! The Peter Pender Zone of Wave Rural Connect is open. That fiber internet, phone, and TV service you've been hearing so much about is now available for areas south of the Arkansas River, to Coxville, to east of Cecil, and over to Roseville, with amazingly fast internet starting at $49.95 a month. Call 1-833-4WAVE-RC or go online to signup.waveruralconnect.com to get signed up. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities that we serve.
Loading the kids in the car, brokering peace in the back seat, mastering the snack handoff without even looking. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. We work with independent agents who keep insurance simple, so you can worry about more important things, like figuring out what's growing in that cup holder. That's simple human sense.
Call Kohler Green Insurance today in Fort Smith, 484-9888, and Kohler & Green Insurance in Van Buren, 474-9888, or online at kohlergreen.com.
When you want beer, you go to a bar.
When you want top-shelf spirits, wines, handcrafted cocktails, and cigars in an atmosphere benefiting a destination, you go to 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Try our new menu items including fish and chips, classic club sandwiches, Caesar and Cobb salads, or stick to your favorites, dine in or carry out. Enjoy our state-of-the-art air filtration system. 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, defining nightlife in downtown Fort Smith. Doors open at 4 Tuesday through Saturday.
Oh my gourd, folks. Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources. This month, I want to say thanks. So I'm on a mission to make car buying easy as pie and help you snag a sweet deal on one of our Rath Road Ready vehicles, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. This month, you could drive a nicer, newer car and save up to $4,150. That's a lot of dough. So if your old ride is flaky, crusty, burnt, or rusty, don't let it squash your happiness. Trade it for a nicer, newer car now, even if you still owe money, and save up to $4,150. Plus, my For the People approval process makes financing your nicer, newer car easy as pie. Keeping the car you have? Get it ready for winter in our Meineke Car Care Center with half-off brakes and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. Deals this delicious won't last long, so visit us today at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Cloudy skies today. There is a chance of seeing some scattered showers. Our high this afternoon in the upper 40s north, mid-50s south. Clouds and showers tonight. And overnight low will drop down mid-30s north, low 40s south. And then a chance of showers with us on Wednesday. High temperatures in the middle to upper 40s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Listen to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett. Weekdays from 11 to 1. You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Busch Light Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith. This hour of The Morning Rush is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed with the best barley, rice, water, and hops to be America's favorite light beer. Bud Light, please drink responsibly.
You don't want to go 4-0 and ranked 8th in the country and then let it all slide away from you, and I don't feel like it will if we can win X number of games. I don't want to get into that, but we've won one conference game. We need to win some conference football games. We need to start this run, and like you say, they're one at a time, but this would get us bowl eligible. That'd be a big thing for us, and so that's another key to it as well.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden, and you're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
People who really want to have a good time won't come to a slaughterhouse. And we've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
I don't like you because you're dangerous. That's right. I am dangerous.
Streaming live from
Hit that line.
.com.
I hit the 7-iron like John Daly hits the 3.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson.
You just gotta keep living, man.
And Tommy Kraft.
We follow orders or people die. Are we clear?
The Morning Rush starts right now.
Yes, sir.
The College Football Playoff Rankings show comes on tonight on ESPN. And I know this is kind of the part where it's, hey, we got to delineate, we got to decide who are the best 4 teams in college football as we get closer and closer to the final selection show, which will be the Sunday following the conference championship game. So this is a great time for you to hop in here at 877-377-6963 and tell Tommy, Clay, and myself who you think the best 4 teams are in college football, because we're going to do that in just one sec.
Hey, tomorrow morning, Brett Good's going to join us. We'll have a fun conversation about the NFL, also the Razorbacks as they get back into action this week. Brett's part of the team at Henderson Phillips. You're the person in charge at your company with employee benefits and the health insurance plans, the group life, vision, dental, all of that, or you're a small business owner looking for options to attract the best talent to your company. Give Brett a call. He can work with you. Also, commercial and personal insurance. He takes care of that. So, hey, if you're listening in this morning, hey, I don't own a company, I don't run a company, but I need a better quote on my home or auto or life insurance yourself, Brett can handle that for you too. 479-651-2292. That's 651-2292 for Brett Good with Henderson Phillips.
It's also Brett's birthday today, so I want to wish him a happy birthday out there as well. He's born in 84, so what does that put him at age-wise?
That would put him at 33? 34? Is
that right? Something.
I didn't know math would be part of the job.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. So, Clay, I'll let you kick this off. Get you out in front of this. You've watched not just a lot of Arkansas football, but I know you pay attention to college football.
37.
Got the
you got it right.
37.
I've got the rankings in the AP poll and the coaches poll. In your opinion, not who they're going to rank tonight, but who, in your opinion, who do you think the best 4 teams in college football are?
Yeah, I think you know as far as the SEC, you have to put Georgia and Alabama in there, and I think I'd probably put Cincinnati. Oklahoma, Ohio State. I kind of go back and forth on that, and I'd probably consider Oregon. You know, it's hard for me to put Ohio State in there and not put Oregon. And when you consider that Oregon, you know, beat them, so I don't get the Ohio State ahead of Oregon in some of these. And I'll bet you that these guys on this playoff committee fix that.
Yeah. No particular order. I mean, Georgia's one. I don't think anyone's going to argue with that. I would have Alabama in there as well, Cincinnati, and then I would have Michigan State. After what I saw this weekend with Mel Tucker's group, I would probably slot them as my number 4. I'd probably have Alabama right now at 2 until proven otherwise. I still don't think, other than Georgia, there's a better team. So probably Cincinnati 3 and Michigan State would be my number 4.
You know, I get that, Tommy, on Michigan State, but I have not been impressed by Michigan for quite some time, and I just don't put a lot of stock in beating them. And I think Michigan's going to lose some more games.
I want to see what Michigan does the remainder of the rest of the season, Clay, because with them losing, we know that Jim Harbaugh is undefeated. What's the defeated against the Ohio State Buckeyes, has not beaten them since he's arrived the coach there. And if they can finally get that monkey off their back.
But the question was, who would you have in your top 4 tonight, not who would you have in your top 4 or project in your top 4 at the end of the season. So I think tonight that's who I would have in my top 4. It would include Michigan State.
And I go ahead,
I just don't have the vibes that, you know, that the Big Ten is strong. I just don't. So, I mean, I've watched some of these teams play, you know, week to week, and I don't see anybody that I would rank with these other teams. And, you know, it comes down to, okay, who's the most deserving or who's the best? And I think what you do is you put in the best, right? And that's what the committee has done. And Michigan State would be most deserving with what they've accomplished, but I don't think they're the best.
Yeah, and that's where you kind of justify back and forth. And I know the College Football Playoff Committee, if they haven't already, I don't know when the final period of their decision, if it's right before the selection show or if they figured it out last night. I just know that tonight's going to be interesting into kind of a tell sign. I expect Georgia, Cincinnati, and Oklahoma to be and Alabama to be in the top 4, but we'll have to wait and see. Oklahoma, I've gotten a chance to watch because my roommate's a Sooner. I've gotten a chance to watch a good chunk of them this season. They almost lost to Kansas and Lawrence. Mm-hmm. They didn't look great against Kansas State. They've just had some games where you're just like, what is going on? West Virginia at home. There are games this year that have occurred, and you're just like, what is going on? Yeah. And they still got to go to Bedlam and go to Stillwater to play Oklahoma State, which I know Mike Gundy doesn't have a great record against the Sooners, but that's going to be a tough football game the way they're playing defense. And it's hard for me to put them in the top 4, but they're undefeated at this point, so I think you just have to.
Yeah, and just looking at Michigan State's schedule, and you're talking about they still got to play at Ohio State and host Penn State. So if you can win those 2 games, it's going to be hard to deny them one of those 4 spots. Now, there would obviously be a Big Ten championship game after that, but that would be a heck of a 12-0 resume if you had those 2. Now, you know, you're right, Clay, leading up to this, other than the win this past weekend, it seems like their schedule is backloaded with more higher quality teams on their conference schedule. But they get Purdue and then Maryland, and then it's Ohio State and Michigan State. But Michigan's really the first big test because Miami, who they had earlier in the year, really doesn't really hold up right now.
Yeah, I think that it'll settle out, and this has been one of those years that seems like every week there's a top 10 or 2 or 3 that go down, and is there? I think what I look at is who can play defense, who can stop somebody, and it looks to me like those 2 teams that and they'll be the ones that kind of emerge at the end of the 12-game season going into postseason play. I think those teams are Georgia and Cincinnati.
Yeah,
their defense is better, but maybe Ohio State. I don't know. But I think we forget about Oregon, and when it all shakes out, if they don't lose again, that victory over Ohio State's going to get them in the playoffs.
So let me ask you about Auburn. They're not in the top 4 right now, but they're a 2-loss team with losses to Georgia and Penn State, and at the time Penn State was a top 10 team. If Auburn runs the table and gets to the SEC championship game, now I think it's an obvious yes if they beat Georgia, but how much are they in the conversation if they just run the table the rest of the regular season?
They'll just get a real nice bow.
Yeah, I'm with Clay.
I mean, you look at the quality of their losses, though, guys. I don't think they can beat Georgia again.
But it's 2 losses, and then they'll have a third. Yeah. I mean, when they lose to Georgia, they'll have a third loss, and that's a disqualifier.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that.
I'm with Clay. Even though those 2 losses,
but they would have it if they beat Georgia in the championship game.
Well,
they'd
that's
have to
different.
They would be. They would be in at that point. But
they would have to have. There'd have to be a lot of 1-loss teams at that point.
Yeah.
I would.
And there may be.
And they would be the SEC champ. You cannot. That's a double negative. I don't know how you say this. Clay, help me out. You have to put the SEC champion. That's the better way to say it.
Not with 2 losses, you don't.
I think you have to.
It just it depends on if you've got a lot of teams with a goose egg out beside it. You're not going to put a 2-loss team in there.
Well, I think what the deal with that would be is, Clay, the only loss that Georgia would have at that point is to the hands of Auburn. I don't see how the College Football Playoff Committee, and again, this is not going to play out. This is a hypothetical scenario that in no way, shape, or form is going to happen. But if Auburn ran the table, if they beat Texas A&M this weekend, if they somehow beat Alabama in the Iron Bowl, and they ended up in Atlanta and beat Georgia, that would give them 3 great wins down the stretch and the only victory over the Bulldogs, assuming they're undefeated at that point. I don't see a scenario where Auburn, and even if they're undefeated teams at that point, I don't see a scenario where they don't get into the college football playoff. I can't see the SEC champion, even with 2 losses potentially, not get, and they would dethrone Georgia. I can't see them not get. But again, it's not going to happen. So
I don't think it will happen. But we didn't think A&M would beat Bama. We don't know what we don't.
We don't know what we know.
We don't know what we don't. But I'm going to tell you, you can't say it absolutely won't happen because we've seen some crazy stuff already this year. I do think Cincinnati can run the rest of the way. They play Tulsa. They play South Florida. SMU, now they do have SMU still to come. So that's going to be the big test that could put Cincinnati over the top.
Is that Dallas or Cincy?
They were listed on the bottom, so I'm going to assume that's in Cincinnati. So that will be the game that probably could punch their ticket right there.
If they go, that's an interesting conundrum that the playoff would face. Clay, do you think they would keep Cincinnati out if they go undefeated this year, as high as they are?
I think they'll be in there.
Okay.
They were what they were in. Was it last year?
They lost to Georgia in the Sugar Bowl either last year. I think it was last year because Desmond Ritter's the quarterback. Yeah, they narrowly lost to Georgia in the Sugar Bowl in a big time BCS game, and they held their own. But Georgia had a couple players sitting out, so I don't.
They better enjoy winning now because they got to come to Fayetteville next year.
Yeah, that's the opening game that Arkansas will take on. And
Tommy says that tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
Fickle,
firmly in the cheek.
Fickle. So they'll lose Ritter. I don't know who else they're going to lose, but Fickle. Clay, you've said this before. He's an Ohio guy. He's going to stay there until that Buckeye job comes open. I'm curious though, Mel Tucker, with the win he got this weekend. How much more heavily he's pursued down in Baton Rouge. And if you're Mel Tucker, I know he's got SEC ties at Alabama and Georgia, and I think he made another pit stop in this league as well. How much is the LSU job that much more tractable with what you have potentially up at East Lansing brewing? And you got an A&O football team. We'll see what they do against Penn State and Ohio State down
They beat
the stretch.
Ohio State and Penn State. They're going to come up with money to make sure he doesn't want to leave.
I think Irvin Magic Johnson will find a way to get some money over there.
Let me throw another curveball in here. Wake Forest right now ranked at 10. They're 8-0. If they end up the ACC champion as an undefeated team, what do you do with Wake Forest?
Well, I tell you, it's another situation where you just look at that league and it's just not very impressive. And I'd like to give Wake Forest credit for what they've done, but I look at their resume and it's like, well, there's, so far I see all the games that they've played, and you can put a lot of teams in their shoes, and they'd win those games. And it just comes down to how much power does your league have, and there's just not much for the ACC this year.
No. If Oklahoma State wins out, and they'd have to beat Oklahoma most likely twice, because they'd have to beat them in Bedlam, and then they'd have to beat them in Dallas in the Big 12 championship. Do you put the Cowboys in there?
Probably not. But, I mean, it just depends on what everybody – it's like all at once if you've got a bunch of two-loss teams, well, it changes it. So it's you have to give me the other scenarios. I can't just say, well, that team is in or that team is in, because you've given me about 6 or 7, right? I mean, it's like there's a lot of teams that still have – I mean, you've got several in the Big Ten. You've got one in the Pac-12. You've got 2 in the – in the Big 12, you've got 2 in the SEC. You've got, so I mean, they all can't get in. So you can't just say, well, if this team does that, they're in. Well, you have to look at how many times these other teams stumble, and they're going to start playing each other. So that's going to happen.
Yep. Can we firmly rule out
start playing some elimination games here pretty quick?
Can we firmly rule out the Fighting Zach Arns and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish at 7-1?
I don't think you ever can rule out Notre Dame.
They got Navy, Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Stanford left. None of those are ranked teams today.
No, you can't. But Notre Dame will always surprise you what support they get. But they don't look very good on offense. They don't look very good on defense. They're not the same. And again, you look at what they've done, who they've beat, and how they've played. It's not been an impressive resume other than they've won. I mean, at some point you look at, what is the team, not the record, and I think that the committee, and from explained to me from different people that have been on the committee, especially Ken Hatfield, the strength of the team is important. It's not just the record.
And the most, they beat Wisconsin, who's was ranked at the time, but has fallen out of the polls.
Not impressive.
The Cincinnati game, is the one loss, but might be the most impressive game they've played to this point for Notre Dame. So, but you're right, they get support when they don't otherwise deserve it for Notre Dame. But still, a team with one loss out there, you kind of got to keep one eye on. So
depends on what happens with everybody else.
Right.
All at once, you get a bunch of 2-loss teams. Well, then they jump in there.
Yeah. Hey. Brought to you by our friends at Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Fall camping well underway. Deer camp coming up. If you want to go in style this year, get by and see Lee J, Chris, and the crew at Wheels RV and let them fix you up. Every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty. So that means peace of mind leaves the lot with you as well. And they have a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So the best brands, the best prices, a great way to go fall camping or tailgating this weekend is with the folks at Wheels RV. 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, and discover with Wheels RV.
Did y'all see that Texas story that is making headlines in Halloween? And I feel like I need to save this. I wanted to save this bit for Clay. Clay, have you seen that story?
I have not.
Okay. So this Texas.
Are they masquerading as a football team?
I think they are a little bit. So this Texas special teams coach Jeff Banks, he's dating a woman who's named Pole Assassin, and I think it's pretty obvious what her job is, our occupation going by that. And she has a whiteface capuchin monkey named Gia. Gia allegedly, I want to make sure I get that in there, bit a trick-or-treater, a kid on Sunday night. And now they're having to go through this snafu of a Texas's coach girlfriend who is an exotic dancer who has a monkey named Gia who bit a kid allegedly on Sunday night, and they're trying to shake that out. Did y'all get into this yesterday?
This is all I've been working on for an hour and a half.
Okay.
This is all we're going to talk about on halftime. Bill texted me this morning for the story, and I told him everything I put at the rundown up till now will be scratched. We will do it on Wednesday. We will be exclusively covering Pole Assassin and the Gia monkey.
Okay.
Situation,
Pole Assassin. Do y'all think
the monkey participates in the act.
In the act that she is involved in. So I would.
It's incredible. You have to watch it.
That's stunning that the monkey would help her. Yeah.
I think the next question would be, do you think she was a part of the entourage that Snoop Dogg brought into Lawrence, Kansas? Do you think she was associated with that? But this is a wild story. It just goes
She's in the right line of work, it sounds like.
I guess, with Texas. But Coach Banks is having a deal. I don't know Sarkisian's policy, Clay, on assistants and press conferences and questions, but I would guess that there were a lot of people asking to talk with Coach Banks this week based on what allegedly happened on Halloween night.
Yeah, I think that the real key is to interview the monkey.
Oh, you have to. Gee, it's like Marcel from Friends. That was Ross's old monkey from that television show.
So you know the monkey. The whole deal was the monkey saw the peanut butter Reese's cups in the bag, and I mean it was all go at that point.
Instinctual.
And then allegedly bit the kid. Man,
I mean, the kid wouldn't give up the Reese's peanut butter cups. I mean, it's just like it's
a heck of a fight.
I can see it happen. Yeah.
If you're a kid and you see a cute little monkey come up to you, what's your first instinct? What would it be?
A kid would want to pet the monkey.
Would you? Pet the monkey and stuck your hand down, and your hands are probably covered, as you said, in Reese's or
Haven't
chocolate.
you seen the movie Outbreak? You never do that. Didn't you see that movie?
I haven't.
It's a good way to make the whole world sick.
What is Outbreak?
That's the Dustin Hopper. That's got bit by a monkey. Everybody gets sick, starts dying. It's a bad deal.
Okay.
So, monkey virus.
There's you some halftime homework. Go watch Outbreak.
Outbreak. Okay, but that is a wild story that's coming out of Austin, Texas. I'm glad that you're ahead of the curve on that, because that seemed right up Phil's alley, Drew. And so the fact that you guys are going to spend
2 straight hours. That's it.
Clay's.
You want to hear a football breakdown of state? You want to hear any more basketball from the weekend? Anything for Monday Night Football? You're just going to have to wait on Ruskin and Zach.
Yeah.
So
that's
Clay,
all we're going to talk
should the University of Texas be
stealing all their material? By the way,
should they be sued for this? Like, how do we go about making sure that Texas pays for this kid's trauma that I'm guaranteeing he experienced after allegedly being bit by this monkey on Sunday night on Halloween?
I mean, it just doesn't look like it's, like a University of Texas event. So, I mean, if it's in the home, University of Texas can't be sued. Although you never know. I'm not going to say where litigation goes.
What if
But this does seem like something that Phil and Drew can talk about for multiple days.
What if the pole assassin was wearing one of Coach Banks' Longhorn sweatshirts or T-shirts, or
what if she was wearing her dancing outfit?
Yeah.
Even
which
better.
Is nothing.
What if Texas offered free tickets to the child? But it seems like the child's had enough trauma at this point. They don't need to endure any more pain by having to go to a Texas football game. So, I mean, it's a sticky situation for the entire Texas administration down there. So, interesting story.
Makes me happy.
All the latest breaking news on the pole assassin coming up at 11 today. With Phil Elson, Drew, and the crew on halftime. Say, hey, it's No Shave November all month long, benefiting the Arkansas Prostate Cancer Foundation. Show your support for prostate cancer survivors and help raise money this month to support the mission of the Arkansas Prostate Cancer Foundation. You can donate online at arprostatecancer.org. All the money raised supports Arkansas Prostate Cancer Foundation's free awareness programs and educational programs, free prostate cancer screenings, and free patient assistance programs as well. Every dollar raised stays right here in our state in Arkansas. The Arkansas prostate cancer screenings can save lives, so get by and make your donation today and donate during No Shave November at arprostatecancerfoundation.org.
Did you figure out, John in Fayetteville wants to know if pole assassin spanks the monkey during her act? Did you figure that out?
I just had to read that one.
I have not seen that one. I have not seen that video during the act.
Okay. All right, more on this
I
coming
didn't
up.
read
The monkey is involved.
that read slow enough.
Streaming live from
HitThatLine.com.
This is former Razorback Jalen Tate, and you're listening to the
Back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams are back for another football season. As always, BetOnline is your #1 spot for all the pro and college football action this season. With the new updated site and interface, even more odds, props, and contests, BetOnline continues continues to be the #1 source for everything football. Head to your website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Don't forget to use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. That's BLEAV. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of these amazing offers for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
Do you know the difference between admission and confession? Admission is acknowledging the truth of something. Confession is a formal statement agreeing that you're guilty. Greg Allman admitted he's no angel, but that doesn't mean he confessed his guilt before God. Romans 10:10 says, one believes and is justified, and with the mouth one confesses and is saved. Confess to God that Jesus died in your guilty place, and then you'll receive His amazing grace. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Pray about it.
The Game Day Lodge in Branson is the perfect place for corporate retreats, golf trips, and team building activities. You'll find 10 bedrooms with 19 beds for up to 28 guests, 9 bathrooms, 17 TVs, poker table, 2 kitchens, 2 laundry rooms, a fire pit, 2 gas grills, outdoor basketball court, a heated indoor swimming pool nearby, and a 10-minute drive to Silver Dollar City. Not to mention near some of the best golf courses. Just search Game Day Lodge on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Airbnb, and VRBO.
Seats in the house.
Don't you just hate that? Sitting in a tire store waiting room while your car's being serviced? That's the last place you need to be with work and kids and the 10 million things you need to be doing. Well, don't. Free shuttle service. Pickup and delivery free when you spend $75 and only $10 if less. Jody'sAuto.com will make your life easier. Hi, Kim Bircher. 3 locations, 1 in Van Buren and 2 in Fort Smith. One stop. We do everything. So you don't have to go from place to place for tires or service or repairs or maintenance. We are local. 37 years and voted best of the best time and time again. We will pick up and deliver or shuttle you so you don't have to waste your time. Honesty and customer service is always our #1 goal. We will make your life much easier at Jody'sAuto.com, JODYS Auto.com.
Largemouth bass will be spawning soon at ponds and lakes all over Arkansas and Oklahoma. One of the best lures to catch them on at this time is the famous Yum Dinger. We make them by the truckloads in Fort Smith in 3, 4, 5, and 6-inch sizes, and they are in tackle boxes of bass anglers all over the U.S. and all over the world. Wacky rigging the 5-inch model can't be beat for spawning bass. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Yum Dinger.
Hey, Grounds guys.
Hey, what?
Y'all did such a great job on cleaning all the leaves from my yard, but I noticed y'all were pressure washing my neighbor's driveway. Y'all do that too?
Absolutely. Amy, the Grounds Guys is a full-service lawn and landscape company. We do leaf removal, gutter cleaning, power washing, and many other outdoor projects. At the Grounds Guys, we want your full lawn and landscape looking its best all year long. Call the Grounds Guys at 479-303-GUYS. That's 303-4897. And say,
Hey, Grounds Guys.
And get $25 off any fall or winter service. The Grounds Guys.
So this one time at B-Dubs,
clubs, a couple of friends came in for football, and they asked for the best seats in the house, which is kind of a trick question. Since we've got wall-to-wall TVs, you can watch the game in any direction. Kind of makes every seat in the house the best seat in the house. So when I explained all that, they just sat at the bar, because you got to be close to the beer on game days. Come into Buffalo Wild Wings for the absolute best game day experience the NFL can offer. Buffalo Wild Wings, to the greatest of all times.
Unbelievable!
Please drink responsibly.
ESPN 95.3. The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft.
Bailey in the gun, gets the snap, gonna throw a slant in the air, incomplete, intercepted! Intercepted by Arkansas at the 22-yard line. The Hawks come out of there with it. Eric Gregory, I think, is the one with the football.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here and hitthatline.com.
Game 6 of the World Series tonight between the Houston Astros and the Atlanta Braves. Braves trying to get it done in Houston and come back to Atlanta with the win. We'll see if Houston can survive tonight. Talk about that in the Monday Night Football game last night between the Chiefs and the Giants coming up as well.
Hey, I want to talk to all the Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative members who are listening this morning. They have opened up new zones for Wave Rural Connect, so the Peter Pender zone is open, as well as other zones, so areas south of Ozark near Coxville, Cecil, Roseville, Webb City. If you live in any of those areas and more, they have now expanded their great high-speed internet and television and phone packages to where you live. So get a hold of Wave Rural Connect from Arkansas Valley Electric and find out about faster internet for your home, starting at $49.95 a month, TV packages for $32.95 a month, and phone packages start at $29.95 a month. You can order online, waveruralconnect.com, or call 1-833-4WAVE-RC, or again, check online at waveruralconnect.com. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities they serve.
34-yard attempt at 1:12 to go. The kick by Butker is up, and the kick is inside the far upright and good. The Chiefs have a 20-17 lead at 1:07 to go in the game.
That ended up being the difference. You can hear Mitch Holthus right there on the call. You can always hear him on ESPN 95.3 and ESPN 104.3. Guys, it wasn't pretty, but the Chiefs found a way in Arrowhead, a cold, windy night on Monday Night Football, and the win is what matters. And now they sit 4-4, and we'll see what happens. Really, the kind of as we get closer to the second half of the season.
Yeah, that's like the seventh best record though in the AFC. They got a uphill climb in the second half to make the playoffs and really be in a position to get back to a championship game or a Super Bowl. So a lot of work to do at basically the halfway point here.
Well, they got to change the way they're playing. I mean, the turnovers and the penalties, I mean, it's just and Mahomes isn't getting a lot of help with his offensive line. I mean, they're playing the safeties deep and daring them to run, and they don't have a running game. You look at their running backs, and they're not the same as what they've had in the past, and it's the running backs kind of stumble in there. I mean, it's just, they're going to lose unless something dramatic happens with the way they're playing. When their best players are fumbling and throwing interceptions and jumping off sides and making penalties, I mean, it's not the way they played for 2 or 3 years, right?
Yeah. No, the turnovers and penalties, as you addressed first, that's a killer. But luckily they got it done. Here's Patrick Mahomes on just keeping it together and coming out with a victory yesterday.
We're going to keep battling. I mean, even the Titans game week before, I mean, we're going to battle to the very end. I promise you that. You're hoping that the turnover luck kind of flips the other way, but that comes with us trying to execute at a higher level. We had the ball that bounced up in the air and picked off. Then Travis, who doesn't fumble, he fumbled. So like I said to Trav and all these guys, I'm going to keep coming right back to you. I'm going to throw it to you, let you make a play. I have that trust in you. And I think as the season goes on, hopefully we can correct the turnovers, and I think we can still be a special offense.
They got a big game coming up, not this weekend, but we know the Dallas game is on its way. That's the week of Thanksgiving, not after Thanksgiving, but the week before. And I forgot who they played this upcoming weekend, but NFL's getting interesting. Dallas
the rest of their schedule, there's not one team with a losing record.
And they had that's a good point, Clay. They had the remaining schedule, I think it's a winning percentage of 6.616, if I remember reading that stat correctly. So they've got an uphill climb, and that's kind of the Chiefs front. The Cowboys doing what they've been doing, even with Cooper Rush on Sunday night, get another victory. The NFC is going to be fun to watch how it shakes out. You got the Packers with one loss, the Cowboys with one loss, the Cardinals with one loss. We're going to talk about this big trade that Los Angeles made coming up. But if you're an NFL fan, like a lot of you are, Cowboys, Chiefs, maybe you got another team, especially in the NFC side of things, Tommy, that is going to be fascinating to watch what ends up happening.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that, like you said, the NFC, all those one-loss teams at the top with Green Bay, Arizona, the Rams, and Dallas right now. And then the Buccaneers, I guess, that with the loss over the weekend, that was a surprise for a lot of people, and them picking up their second loss. Can New Orleans slip up in there? They're a two-loss team. So
tell them the Drew Brees story. What happened with Drew? What you mentioned earlier.
Well, but these injuries and these quarterback injuries around the league, and he was on with Tirico and Herm there on the set, and they kept asking him, "Hey, is your phone ringing? Or people calling you or trying to get it?" And he kept looking at his phone and goes, "No, I guess I'm going to be at Notre Dame Saturday. I'll be." And it was playful and funny, but you wonder if a guy like Drew Brees would get called on out of retirement. But I think he's comfortable in the studio right now, making plenty of money to not get hit. Yeah. But they were playing with him, having a little fun, wondering if he's getting some calls from some GMs and coaches while he was doing the NBC work on Sunday night.
I think that the rib injuries are recent enough that he's like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see. I mean, the Cowboys with that healthy lead right now in the NFC East, and you look at that, it almost seems insurmountable at this point when the Cowboys are 6-1, and then the Eagles are 3-5, Washington 2-6, and the Giants after last night dropped to 2-6. So, people want to jump up and down about Prescott and wondering if the sky's falling. You're not losing that division. There's just no way you're losing that division at this point. Mm-hmm. Get him healthy, get him right for the long haul, because you're going to be the champion of the NFC East.
Yep. See what happens there. I forgot it was the Packers are traveling to Arrowhead this weekend because David in South Arkansas invited us to go, but couldn't make it happen this week, and that's going to be a fun game between Rodgers and Mahomes. Battle of two great quarterbacks. They got a big lead too.
I mean, they're 7-1. Minnesota's second place at 3-4 in that division. So
it's nice
in the North.
Hey, Fields looked good the other day. Maybe Chicago will get rolling, but Packers still own them in this division.
Hey, get by and see our friends at Art's Barbecue, Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. The all-new fried chicken sandwich is there. One of our favorites. Got the kickin' chicken sauce, plenty of pickles, the side of your choice. It's on the menu for a limited time. The all-new fried chicken sandwich. And if you're tailgating or home gating this weekend, call Art's for anything you need to make your party even more special. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here and hitthatline.com.
The temperatures may be cooling down, but at Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas, the deals are still red hot. Whether you are enjoying one of over 50 state parks or tailgating with your favorite team, Wheels has the right RV to help you enjoy fall in the natural state. And at Wheels RV, every new unit comes with a lifetime warranty. So get out to Wheels and see why they were voted best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Your company is known for top pay and great salaries, but how do your benefits compare to the competition? Hi, this is Brett Good with Henderson Phillips. In today's competitive labor market, great pay is no longer enough. Call me at 479-651-2292 and let's discuss your benefit plans to make sure your company has what it needs to attract and retain the best talent. I am Brett Good with Henderson Phillips. Call me today, 479-651-2292. That's 651-2292.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you're a fence builder or have building experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay, health, dental, and vision benefits, plus a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
TGI Fridays is the best place in Fort Smith for food, fun, and football. Your locally owned TGI Fridays in Fort Smith has your favorite beers on tap. And Thursday through Sunday for bar football, all drafts are just $2. Fridays is the best place to watch football with plenty of TVs so you won't miss a second of the action while enjoying famous Fridays appetizers like the loaded potato skins or Friday's signature whiskey glazed sliders. It's food, fun, and football with $2 drafts Thursday through Sunday at your locally owned TGI Fridays at I-540 and Rogers in Fort Smith.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
The Peter Pender Zone of Wave Rural Connect is open. That fiber internet, phone, and TV service you've been hearing so much about is now available for areas south of the Arkansas River, to Coxville, to east of Cecil, and over to Roseville, with amazingly fast internet starting at $49.95 a month. Call 1-833-4WAVE-RC or go online to signup.waveruralconnect.com to get signed up. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities that we serve.
Bro, your fridge is empty. You need to make a beer run.
No, bro. I just ordered my beer from Sodies on their new app. They're bringing the beer to me.
Yeah!
Your favorite store for wine, beer, and spirits now offers delivery in the Fort Smith area. Order online at mysodies.com or on the Sodies app. Must be 21 or older and show ID upon delivery. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
You've trained for this all year. Endless hours of cardio, conditioning, and weights. And now you are ready. Ready to trek back to your seat from the concession stand. Through the lines, lost fans, and that mascot who wants you to do a little dancey dance, all without spilling a drop of your ice-cold Bud Light. Welcome back to football, sports fans.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time, every time.
When was the last time you looked forward to seeing the dentist? Well, if it's been a while or you haven't had the best of experience with dentistry, meet Marcy Van Ash McKinney in Family Dentistry. They take care of it all: crowns, bonding, dentures, bleaching, and cosmetic dentistry. They even offer oral consciousness sedation available for your comfort. That's Marcy Van Ash McKinney Family Dentistry at 807 South 21st. Call for an appointment today, 494-7600. That's 494-7600.
River City Bistro is Fort Smith's favorite place for lunch, dinner, and brunch. Open 7 days a week, both on the patio and cozy dining room. River City Bistro, locally owned and open weekdays 11 till 8, Saturdays 10 till 8, and Sundays 10 till 3. Want River City Bistro curbside to go? Just search on Facebook or Instagram for River City Bistro or go to rcbistro.com. River City Bistro, 7320 Rogers Avenue in the Stonewood Village Shopping Center.
ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing. The SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Ashley Air. Keeping your home comfortable is what they do best. Trust them with your heating and cooling needs. Go to ashley.air.com to request service today.
Tough news for Tennessee Titans fans. Former Alabama running back Derrick Henry is out for the season. They've picked up Adrian Peterson, former Oklahoma running back. I saw that news and was pretty wowed by that. But Derrick was having a fantastic year. Had, I think, over 930 yards rushing to this point. And Jonathan Taylor, I think, was second in the league with like 600 and something. But tough news for all you Alabama and Tennessee fans as he's out for the year. Von Miller headed to Los Angeles to play for the Los Angeles Rams. This was a surprising out-of-the-blue move. There were some rumblings that he could get traded, but To put him in Los Angeles with the likes of Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, that defense for Sean McVay is suddenly going to be very, very explosive. And there's a funny skit from Kyle Brand of the NFL Network. L.A., they're going all in.
And I am advising all my clients to get in on the Rams. What's not to like about a team whose entire business model is bleep the future? Let's get rich now. Do you hear me, New York?
So, guys, recruiting's a little different than in college football, the NFL. LA is giving up a bunch of draft picks these next couple seasons because they want to win a Super Bowl now, it looks like. And that philosophy has worked for some. It hasn't worked for others, but that's the former Texas A&M Aggie is headed off to Los Angeles. Hopefully that defense will pick it up. Also, probably the biggest, speaking of recruiting, the biggest news, Miles Brennan, LSU quarterback, he's entered the transfer portal. So this was coming off the heels of an injury and losing the job to Max Johnson because of that injury. And now, probably on top of the Ed Ogeron stuff, Ed's having to deal with that. And y'all, based on what you've seen a little bit, do y'all think Miles ends up in an SEC school, or where's his next destination, you think?
I don't know if he gets to an SEC school, but I find it interesting, Clay, to see how many of those LSU players might end up in the portal, too, when the season's over with a change in coaching staff coming. Another change for some of those guys at position coaches and coordinators.
Yeah, certainly you got to expect the new coach to have to re-recruit all those guys. Yeah. I mean, that's what happened. I read some comments from Matt Wells after he was fired at Texas Tech, and he's like, hey, every year you start about December 1 re-recruiting your whole roster.
Jeez. Because
of the transfer portal. And that I know Sam made comments that he's not going to change the way he coaches. It's going to be firm and hard. And guy not playing, you're going to coach him hard, trying to develop him. And Matt Wells was very clear that guys that that weren't first string or weren't getting the bulk of the snaps, at running back or wide receiver, then they're out. They're going to go somewhere else. And it may be that they're disappointed with their options when they get in the portal, that there's not that many takers. And that's the risk that some of these guys have. If they're back up somewhere and they hit the transfer portal, and they may be back up somewhere else.
We'll have to kind of wait and see what happens with the time on LSU. When should Woodward and the board of trustees, and I don't know who their chancellor is down there, in y'all's opinion, when should they come to a decision and at least make an attempt to hire their next coach? It's not like they haven't been at least looking and going through that process to this point, but when is a good time for them to say, hey, I need you to sign on the dotted line to come coach the Tigers?
The likelihood is they're going to hire a sitting head coach, so it's going to be whenever that season is complete. So first week of December or after the championship games on the 4th would be my answer, because you're not going to name a coach that has a current job. So you're going to be looking into December before you name somebody.
Yeah, you have to, if it's somebody that's still in the running for the national championship, then it might take a while. Mm-hmm. And if they're not, then early December, because you want to give them a chance to sign the next class in recruiting, because the chances are that a good number of players, or 90% of the players are going to be gone. So you lop off recruiting class that's gone, plus players going into the portal at that point. Like I said, you got to re-recruit your players.
Yeah.
To me it looks like it's Mel Tucker or Dave Aranda. I mean that's the two that they're looking at. That's my opinion. I mean there may be somebody else. It may not. I don't think it's Lane Kiffin. I don't think it's Hugh Freeze.
Depends on if Jimmy Sexton starts waving some guys out there looking for raises and muddies that whole water. Jimmy Sexton seems to always be involved somewhere in all the big-name searches.
I think that James Franklin, if I remember correctly, he switched over to Jimmy in the offseason or recently. I'm curious if his name gets mentioned more and more for that LSU job. Now, speaking of the Tigers, you'll take on LSU in Baton Rouge, 6:30 next Saturday night in Death Valley. That game's going to be broadcasted on the SEC network. You've got Mississippi State and Auburn going on at 11. New Mexico, either State or whoever, playing Alabama at 11. They're putting Sanford and Florida on SEC and ESPN Network Plus, Tommy, at 11. We were talking about that yesterday. Yeah. The conference is putting a few non-conference games this month on either ESPN Plus or the SEC Network Plus.
You've run out of channels. I mean, when everybody gets to play, and we saw this early in the year, Arkansas and Rice was on, when teams don't have bye weeks and you've got all of these games and you've got a couple of games that are non-conference games, you just run out of places to land those games. So, and I think ESPN Plus and the more subscription-based platforms, that's the way we're going to see other sports go. You're going to see more basketball and baseball and some of these other higher profile things go on those platforms, I think, moving forward with the ESPN contract when it kicks in.
The biggest game probably this week is Texas A&M at Ole Miss in Oxford. They're going to put that 6 o'clock on ESPN. I say that they have the CBS game between Georgia and Tennessee. That's the 2:30 game. Again, these are all games for next weekend. And that's going to do it for your SEC update, and it's brought to you by Ashley Air.
Yeah, proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics. Ashley Air, it's the one you want. Schedule your service appointment today at ashley.air.com.
Guys, I wanted to mention this. Porter brought this to my attention that the great high school, and I knew he was a high school coach, but I didn't know where he coached. Don Campbell, the general, as you brought up.
For a number of years, and it was famous for running the football, and when he'd get on the scoreboard show on Friday nights, there was always an over-under on how many times they threw it, and it'd usually be about like 4 or something like that. And Clay used to say if you threw the football, one of 3 things can happen, and 2 of them are bad. So
yeah,
that was the general.
You know, he was a big Razorback fan. He loved the Hogs, and if he could, he would. You didn't have to worry about win players too often. Every once in a while, I think he coached at Sheridan briefly. Am I right on that, Tommy? That he went from Sheridan to Wynn?
That would be before my time, so you may be right on that. So,
is he during or was he after D'Angelo Williams?
Oh, I mean, he's coached for 40 years. Yeah.
But my understanding, in his retirement, he spent his retirement days in the Greenbrier area, and he had a heck of a memorabilia room because I visited with someone that had gotten to visit that after a football game. They ran into him and just had a wonderful room of great football memorabilia that if you got to see it, they said it was pretty cool. So
different high school or just college and Arkansas stuff?
They just said I think it's just a variety of stuff, but things you collect over a lengthy career. So
you go to Matt Zimmerman's room, the color analyst for Arkansas basketball. His room in St. Vincent, Arkansas, is still decked out with all these Sports Illustrated and posters and memorabilia that you're talking about. He's not going to just invite people into his home, but it is. I've gotten a chance to see it because my mom and him went to high school together, and our grandparents are friends. But it is just cool to see how decked out in Arkansas stuff that is. Mine's kind of that way as well. I know that you've got a wife, Clay. You've got a wife, and you've got some fishing gear all in your house up there. But Tommy, you need to get to. Do you have a room for yourself? Because I always my friends' dads, they always have like the basement or the downstairs room where the wife says, "Honey, you can decorate this however you want." Do you have a room? Do you have a room for yourself like that?
Oh, the basement's got a little more sports theme to it than the rest of the house, but it's as decorated with my stuff as she'll allow. How about that?
She keeps it. Is there?
But the downstairs area does have some great Razorback stuff, some framed artwork, and then a couple of pictures. I cherished a trip to the Masters with me and my brother and 2 good friends. That's a framed deal, and then a picture of me and my dad together at Yankee Stadium. We went to a trip before the old Yankee Stadium, so I've got a couple of prized possessions hanging on the wall in the basement.
I've got a couple of pictures of family members. My room's decked out in basically family stuff and sports gear. That's what it basically is, because I think every man, especially listening to this, and females too, it doesn't really matter if you're a sports fan, you like to cherish those memories and hold those dear, because a lot of times you spend them not just remembering, but you spend them with friends and family, and you want to keep keepsakes as much as you can.
Some of the neatest keepsakes I saw was when I was at your house, Clay. Underneath the stairs, you had a lot of your dad's old stuff. So that was neat for me to see.
That I there's pretty cool stuff. His Eagle Scout patches. There's some, just different things that from the 30s that when he was a young boy, and some of his stuff that is just incredible, and my mom's stuff too. But the stuff that we've got out is all. It looks like it belongs in a river house, and that's what we have. So there's mounted ducks, there's fish pictures, and that kind of stuff. Bamboo rods, they're on the wall. Yeah.
General Ben is called in. General Ben, you have 30 seconds to ask Clay a question about the Mississippi State offense. Just 30 seconds. Go ahead, man.
Okay, no problem. If Mississippi State, they come out passing the ball and that's all like they did the first 5 games or whatever, and then or if they come out running and passing like they did last week when they beat Kentucky, which one would be most difficult for our defense, Clay?
Well, they're gonna do both. I mean, Arkansas is probably going to play a 3-man front, and it'll be, the linebackers, coming up and tackling. They're gonna have to tackle in space, safeties and linebackers. That's what their offense does. They're not going to throw it down the field into coverage, which is what they did last year. So it come down to a couple of turnovers, like the Kentucky game turned out. It's going to be that. But as far as their offense is tough to stop. They've hit their stride.
Yeah, and a lot of their passing is like running because they're just short behind.
It's just little short dinks.
Yeah, so I mean they go down as passes, and they had 39 attempts.
Check downs.
But they're exactly. So I mean they're extended handoffs is what I like to classify them as.
Yep, no, that's exactly what they've talked about and them doing. And Rogers goes,
and that's how you get a 92% completion percentage in a game is a lot of short passes.
Hopefully, we won't be able to do that against Arkansas. We'll unpack this a little more this week. Former Mississippi State quarterback Matt Wyatt is going to be joining us. He's the analyst for Mississippi State football, and he'll hop on with us tomorrow at 8 a.m. to give you more of an inside perspective on what the Bulldogs are going to be trying to do. Clay, good to talk to you. Good to have you back. Tommy,
thanks. Good to be back.
Drew, I'm Ty. We'll do it again tomorrow on a What's Your Beef Wednesday edition of the Morning Rush.
What does everybody want this year? Their very own hot tub. Hot Spring Spas makes every day better. Burton Pools and Spas in Springdale and in Fort Smith have the very best deals on hot spring spas. Supplies are very limited, so let Burton Pools and Spas